This is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello. And welcome into the show, everybody. Happy Thursday. You know what we always say. Thursday's a new Friday. So welcome to the weekend. Glad that we can be a part of your morning. Look, we got a lot to get to today. I want to get to a specific unit on the Detroit Lions. Screw it. We're going to talk about all of them. I'm going to rank our units for our favorite football team in the 10 o'clock hour. We'll get to around the league, get to a couple other things. Traditions, you know the deal. We'll start with the Detroit Tigers, though, who had a day game yesterday. We deemed it a must-win game, and guess what they did? They lost. 1.5 games now back from the wild card. Oh, Ben, that's not that bad. There's like 35 games left. Yeah, but every time you lose, somebody else wins, and you're in this battle with 6 other teams for that final spot. Look, are the playoffs still possible for this Tigers team? Yes. They are. There's still a good amount of baseball left that needs to be played. But after yesterday, another blown save, another blown lead. Kenley Jansen, walk-off home run. I think I'm probably good on selling our audience hope at this point. You can still have it. I'm not going to project it forward now. Because up until yesterday, I really did, from the bottom of my heart, my brain and the stats, I really did think that this was going to be the final wild card team. Then they lose yesterday, and I don't mean to put all that much stake into one game, but it's just like such a good reminder of this bullpen's not good enough. You can't rely on them. No lead is safe. The offense comes and goes. And when it's there, man, that when they're firing on all cylinders, this looks like one of the best teams in the American League. It does. Sometimes they're not doing that, and that was the case the last 2 days. I thought they were justified in trading Skubal and Mize the last 24 hours because of how the game went. I mean, Skubal could have pitched 7 innings scoreless, and they still would have lost that game because of the bullpen. And, you know, there's this whole stance that a lot of Tigers fans are standing 10 toes deep on, that they should have traded for bullpen arms. To that I say, who? Who should they have traded for? Give me a name. Because I went through every trade that happened at this year's trade deadline. Do you want to guess how many dudes, main pieces of a trade that got brought back or bought that were bullpen arms? How many trades occurred where the main piece moved was a bullpen arm this deadline? One singular move. It was Luke Weaver from the Mets, who was a closer in 2024. In 23, has not even been a closer this year. So they weren't just like magically fixing their bullpen with the snap of the fingers with a move at the deadline. Oh, they could have traded for multiple guys. They did that last year, and everyone they brought in still stunk. Just because you trade 4 bullpen arms doesn't make them good bullpen arms, and they learned that the hard way last year. This year, there wasn't as much of a market for it. So I don't think they should have traded bullpen arms. But nonetheless, regardless of whether or not this team heats up and wins 10 in a row and gets back into a playoff series or not, here's where I'm going to come in with something that I think is pretty unique. Allow me to introduce this thought to your brain. I think this is a successful season no matter what. Oh, come on, Ben. They made the playoffs the last 2 years, and now they're going to miss it outright, and you're going to call it successful? Yeah, I am. Here's why. Look at the way that their young guys are playing. McGonigal is a franchise bat. This guy's a borderline MVP candidate. Hell, we all think he will be one day. He's a superstar. That's what he is. That's young guy number 1. Young guy number 2, Max Clark. That's a franchise center fielder if I've ever seen one. He's everything you wanted in Parker Meadows the last couple of years, except this guy has explosive power in his bat right away. That's kind of the one thing that we weren't sure we were going to get with Max Clark. This guy just rakes in extra base hits left and right. Max Clark's a franchise center fielder, ladies and gents. I'm fine with paying him a contract. Then you got the other 2 rookies, Hao-Yu Lee, Eduardo Valencia. Both have really found a rhythm here. These are the Scott Harris guys. It was such a unique situation that Scott Harris inherited because he took over a situation in which all of the previous regime's guys were starting to find their footing. Starting to find their footing in the bigs and have some success. Because when Scott Harris took over that first season, you think he expected them to go on that ridiculous run to end the season, 0.2% chance, and then they end up in the postseason and won a playoff series against the Astros? No, that was all bonus. And I think it skewed a lot of Tigers fans' mindset on what Scott Harris's approach was always going to be, and it was going to be building via the draft and prospects and trading for these guys, and he was going to mold a different group of guys and a different identity than what was currently on the team. And then the next year rolls around and it's, oh my God, this is the best team in baseball for the first half. Scott Harris is probably thinking to himself, I don't even know what to do. I'm focused on the young guys. That's the timeline I always thought, but now this team is great, and that's why they didn't trade at the deadline. I think that was a massive mistake, by the way, to not recognize in the moment that the Tigers needed help and could have competed as soon as last year. But then you get to the playoffs, and it's like, maybe they couldn't have competed because all of our quote-unquote stars stink. That's what happened in the playoffs for the most part, especially in Game 5. Now they're in a situation where, okay, they move off of Skubal. They get a nice return for him. They move off of Mize. They get a nice return for him. And they're still in a playoff race right now with all these young guys. I really, from the bottom of my heart, think going into next season, the Tigers have one of the best situations in the American League going for them. With this young core and this pitching staff with Job and Melton. I know Job didn't have an amazing outing yesterday, but it was fine. It was good. Not a ton of strikeouts, so that's okay. Between those guys and some players coming back from injury, and you're freeing up so much money, $80 million you're going to free up between Skubal and Flaherty and Kenley Jansen. Get him out of here. Glaber, if you don't want to bring him back, there's some money to go spend. Plus, you have all this young talent. Oh, yeah, and Riley Green and Dylan Dingler are still here as well. I know fans don't want to hear this, but going into next season, I think this is going to be a great situation. And I get it. This season has not ended. Why are we focused on next year? Because I think this was always the plan all along. Get the young guys up. Get them some experience. I think in Scott Harris's mind, and you don't have to like Scott Harris. I'm not telling you have to agree with his thoughts. I'm just kind of portraying what I believe them to be. This is the first year. This is the first year of his dudes. Oh, McGonigal's my guy. Clark, that's my guy. Now we're getting some real run right now with these players as the faces of the franchise. That way going forward, next year, the year after, we always feel solid about what we have. Because hell, man, We saw what it looked like when Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson were the best players on this team. It's just not going to get you through multiple playoff rounds. Okay, what does it look like when Riley Green's the third best hitter on the team? Now we're talking. Are they going to make the playoffs this year? I don't know. Probably not. Still possible. But after yesterday, after a game what I deemed a must-win, you blow another save, I'm no longer going to be ride and die. They have to make it. They're going to. I believe in them. If they do, they do, and that would be great. If they don't, I still think they're in a pretty good situation. I don't think I'm being a biased fan here. I'm not trying to be a homer because, man, I like to think I'm not afraid to rip into some of these teams when they make bad decisions. And Scott Harris specifically has made some bad decisions as with his tenure with the Detroit Tigers. Everything that has happened this season, other than those first 2 months, I think it's pretty much gone according to plan. And those first 2 months went so poorly that it adjusted their plan. From that point on, this has been a success. I really think this season has been good in the eyes of the front office. You go into next year feeling very confident in this team. All the young guys are performing well. This was a win of a season. You're competing for a wild card spot with all of the youngest players in the American League coming to the team and forming this new youth movement for the Detroit Tigers. I like where they find themselves, whether they make the playoffs or not. Making the playoffs would be a cherry on top for this season. I no longer think it's going to happen after last night. I keep saying last night. Yesterday's day game, it still could. They're 1.5 out, 6-team race. We'll see what happens. Nonetheless, I like the situation that the Tigers find themselves in, Kyle. And I know I've kind of been banging that drum for a couple of weeks now, really since the deadline. But yesterday shifted the mentality just in terms of I don't really think this team's going to make the playoffs anymore. And you know what? I'm not heartbroken about it because I still think there's a lot to look forward to with this team and the players on it.
I think that you can feel that way in being excited about the future of the Tigers, while also realizing that this season certainly was not a success. It certainly was not successful in the slightest. I mean, we had to think of what we thought about this team going into the season, right? Mm-hmm. That has to be taken into consideration when you think of successful season. Missing the playoffs entirely when we had aspirations and goals and actual realistic expectations of winning the American League, missing the playoffs outright, there's nothing you could convince me to say that's a successful season.
Can I ask you a question? If I told you, hey, the Tigers make the playoffs, win a playoff series, lose to whoever in the ALDS, doesn't matter. But McGonigal was Clark never really came along. He had a quick stint and got sent back down. And they kept Skubal. And now he's losing for nothing this offseason. Is that better than, holy crap, Dylan Dingler's a borderline MVP? I know he's cold right now. Kevin McGonigal's going to win Rookie of the Year, and this guy's clearly a superstar. Max Clark, potential superstar as well. Yeah, they might miss the playoffs. And I totally understand, preseason, what our expectations were. They're going to fall short of that. But just, maybe this team was never going to win the American League, and that kind of seems obviously 2020 vision. But all the small stuff throughout the course of the season, the checkpoints that would have potentially made this a successful season, all of those checkpoints still got hurt. The final result, or still got met. The final result just wasn't necessarily what we thought it was going to be.
Sure, I think your version that you just threw me out there also would have been not successful. Just losing in the same spot you lost last year and losing Skubal. That also would be not successful. I don't think it's either one or the other is a success. Now, I do think the trading Skubal part is important. I think that's the most successful part of the season. And I know that's a very loser mentality thing to say, but it was almost, we've talked about this, a blessing in disguise that this team was so bad in May and that the bullpen continues to be so bad because you didn't lose Skubal for nothing. You were forced to trade him because you were in a spot where if you didn't, you would look like an idiot. And that was a good thing as long as some of those prospects work out and we're excited about them and this and that. But the bullpen being as bad as it was from day one, that's the one thing that hasn't changed about this team. We've talked a lot about, the rookies. We're excited about the offense going forward. There's been this incredible elevation from Troy Melton, and Jackson Jobe had a fine outing yesterday. We're excited about him going forward. The starting pitching, we feel really good about. The bullpen has been the same since day one. It's just been bad. It's been mediocre. It's been underperforming all year. And at some point, underperforming turns into just how they are because they've been performing that way for 5 months. So the bullpen being as bad as it was, at least helps you cope a little bit with the, oh yeah, okay, this team was never really going to win the American League with how bad this bullpen was. And that's fair. I just think you can separate being excited about the future, which I am as well. I share that with you, while also saying this season is not successful. There's no way this season is successful. I can feel good about the young guys all I want. You missed the playoffs. How is that a success?
So I have 2 questions for our audience. One, have you lost faith in their ability to make the playoffs? They're still alive, but they've got a lot of ground to make up now after losing that series to Pittsburgh and getting swept by Chicago. They had it for like a half a second and lost it all. So, A, do you think that this team is still going to make the playoffs? Have you lost all faith in them? And B, do you think that this season is a success due to Kevin McGonigal, due to Max Clark, due to the other rookies, due to the trading Skubal contracts and making sure he doesn't walk away for nothing? Because I would say because you checked all those boxes, in some regards, to your point, Kyle, not in every single regard, but in a lot of ways, I think this season is more of a success than people are willing to admit. I think a lot of people right now are slamming their fists on the table, shouting to God, why? Why did they not trade for bullpen arms? It's okay. Even if they traded for bullpen arms, this team's not winning the American League. Wasn't a ton of bullpen arms available. So I think there's a lot of reasons to point to success for this year. Do you agree with that? 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Minute. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof, storm damage, siding looking tired, Bresky has you covered. Locally owned, trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come. The 9 o'clock hour is brought to you by Iron Stack Technology. You know, we talk about the game plan a lot on this show, the execution of it. That's how Iron Stack approaches IT. They help businesses stay secure, efficient, and ready for what's next so you can focus on your mission instead of your tech. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. Check them out online at ironstacktechnology.com.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
out no money, girl. Come on.
By Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
So have you lost all faith that the Tigers can make the playoffs after losing yesterday the way that they did? They dropped the series to Pittsburgh. They blow another save. Is that 28 on the year? 28 times they've blown a save late in the game. Or 18 blown saves, 28 blown games in terms of blowing a lead in the 7th inning or later. It's almost impressive how many times they've lost that way. Like, at some point, it's just like, how does this keep happening? I'm not surprised anymore. When Kenley gave up that that home run yesterday to walk it off, I was like, yeah, that that makes sense.
But it's just like you've got to be kidding me. Like
it
two
really
home
is.
runs in the 9th inning. You know, it's not like they went into it tied and he gave up one home run. It's 2 solo homers.
And the tough part was Kenley Jansen had put together a pretty damn good month.
I know.
And
all
honestly, that just gets
I don't
thrown
really care.
out the window. Yeah,
and I don't think anyone really cares. Yeah, 19 games the Tigers have lost this season when leading in the 7th inning or later. 19.
28 blown saves.
That is unbelievable. I mean, cut that in half, and this is a first-place team.
Cut that in half. Yeah.
And cut that in half.
You don't even
That's
have to
still
cut it in
alive.
half.
Cut it in half to 10 games, and it's like, that's still, you've blown 10 games when you've been leading in the 7th inning or later? That even feels like a lot. 19 feels comical.
I asked if you're losing faith in the Tigers' ability to make the postseason. Joseph says, I will when Kenley Jansen is actually able to hit that popcorn vendor he's always aiming at.
Nice.
It's not like he's throwing wild pitches, though. He just gets lit up. Kristen says, I still have faith. I'm not sure what they need to do with their relief pitching, but they have to figure it out. Yeah, I got bad news for you, Kristen. I don't know if they're going to be able to figure it out. It kind of feels like this is a situation where you're stuck with what you got. Steve said the blown save for the game Skubal pitched before he left and yesterday are a kick in the nuts. Still going to root for them, but not really believing that this team can make the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, that certainly wasn't like as bad of a loss on the season as that Skubal final start was.
No.
That's for sure going to be the worst loss of the year, and maybe one of the worst losses the Tigers have had in the last 5 years. But yesterday sucked because you were coming off of getting swept, and so you can't have a back-to-back series loss. And then I don't know if you looked at the standings yesterday, Ben, but literally every team lost in the mix except for Minnesota.
Yep.
Like, what a grand opportunity to get back into Chicago won, but all of the wild card teams at least.
Mm-hmm.
So now for a week straight, we have a different team holding that third wild card spot. It's just been all over the place, and the Tigers find themselves at the bottom of it. The Tigers find themselves in 4th place in the division once again, by the way, a spot they've held most of the season.
All these AL teams in the final wild card spot are playing hot potato with it. It's like nobody wants it.
They all suck.
No, not a single team wants to go grab that wild card spot. Ralph says, I still have a little faith, but once they make the playoffs, it's an inevitable loss due to the bullpen. Yep. Nailed it. Steve says, no, other teams improved at the deadline. The playoffs favor those type of teams. I just don't know what this team was supposed to do at the deadline to tremendously improve the overall outlook on them. It doesn't feel like it's not that it doesn't feel like there wasn't a move for them to make.
Right,
there was one closer that there was one main reliever that got moved as a key part, as the main piece in a trade, and he wasn't even a closer.
And let me take you guys back when 2025 deadline rolled around, and it was the deadline of relievers, by the way, because You look at this year's deadline, it was absolutely controlled by the starting pitching. 2025 was all relief pitching. And Scott Harris and the Tigers, what was their number one need? Relief pitching.
They brought in 8
They were
guys.
the best team in the American League, and they brought in a bunch of scrubs, and half of them were off the team by the time the playoffs rolled around. So even in the spot where it made the most sense for them to buy, when there was the most guys available, they got nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So going into a deadline where it didn't even make sense for them to buy at all, and there wasn't really relief pitching available, you expect them to just add 3 different guys that are going to help them get to a playoff spot? We can sit here and agree. I think all of us agree. The idea of them trading Skubal away while also buying relief pitching sounds awesome.
Super cool.
That sounds sick. No one does that. You don't buy and sell.
Yeah, it's not a thing. What's the saying? You can't have your cake and eat it too?
Yeah.
It's not how this works.
Even if teams did do that, and some teams do a little bit of buying and selling, not when you're selling Tarek Skubal. Let's get that out of the way. But even if they were able to buy and sell, who were they buying? The theory of them adding relief pitching at the deadline is very similar to the situation we always talk about with the Lions. They should have added offensive line help.
Right.
Okay.
Name the guy.
Name an offensive tackle that got traded. Name a guard that got traded. It just doesn't really happen at the deadline. Not saying that relief pitching doesn't get traded, but
this year it didn't.
Yeah, specifically at this year's deadline, there really wasn't.
One singular guy was the main piece of a trade in return, and he went to Pittsburgh, and he's not even a closer. Okay, they missed out on that one singular person. Would that have made a difference? Nope.
Maybe they would have beat Pittsburgh since he's on their team.
Sean says, starting rotation next year, Melton, Job, Valdez, Montero looks solid. Obviously, you'd love to sign Skubal back. Bad news for you, man. That's not happening.
That. Sure.
But there are other options, too, if that doesn't work out. Yeah, that's the thing. I really like what they have going for them in the future. And I think you talked me back a little bit of, is the overall season a success? Probably not, but there are a lot of things that you can point to and say, that was successful. The Kevin McGonigal rookie season was as successful as you possibly could have imagined, plus more, right? Max Clark, Eduardo Valencia, Hao-Yu Lee, that is success stories for Scott Harris heading into next year to where they can start to revamp this roster so it's not a bunch of James Outmans, and no offense, but Matt Vierlings, Zach McKinnon. You don't have to deal with those guys anymore because you actually developed young bats in your farm system. Point to that. Success. You traded Skubal and didn't let him walk for nothing. Success. Jose Briseño's looking like an absolute stud in Double and Triple A. Success. There are things that you can point to and say, you know what, that was actually a great part of the season. Dylan Dingler's 90% of the year where he looked like an MVP candidate up until the last 10%. Success. So yeah, maybe the overall season, not like a unanimous success, but you have to be able to recognize where that did come into play this season. It wasn't all bad. And I think a lot of Tigers fans are viewing it as an all bad, total failure, did nothing right type of year. And I just totally disagree.
I think that's fair. Gary in our YouTube chat saying the season is a success sounds like Dan Dickerson saying ground ball out, but it was hit hard. It's still an out and you failed, but potential for more is there. That's pretty good. And he also just says, we will not make the playoffs. The season can't be a success. There were too many needs at the deadline to turn it around and make a run at the playoffs. The future is bright, but not a success. I think that kind of emulates, what we're saying. Chris also says, I would not call this season a success. Maybe a step towards the future by establishing a young core of players, though.
I'm willing to accept that answer. 989-837-6125. Got some football to get to. Want to talk a little Aiden Hutchinson in the defensive line because certain publication ranks defensive lines, and you're going to like where the Lions are ranked. It's the Ben Bosscher Show here on 100.9 The Mitt. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. You can see us live on YouTube, and you can see the difference at Midland Eye Care, where your vision is their focus, offering comprehensive eye exams, glasses, contacts, and advanced eye health services. Friendly, knowledgeable staff and a wide selection of stylish frames for every face and budget. Book your appointment today and start seeing clearer tomorrow at Midland Eye Care.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, 989-837-6125. We've got Tigers, we've got Lions, all coming up. Let's hit the news first.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
We've got Lions coming up, you say? I got Lions for you right now, Ben.
Oh!
Interesting stuff coming from CBS Sports yesterday. They listed their all 32 teams, the player/coach who's on the hot seat the most for each team.
The player/coach who's on the hot seat the most.
The number one person on each team who is like under the most pressure, hot seat. It was phrased as hot seat. Who do you think they put for the Lions?
Well,
Let me give you a hint.
Is it pressure or hot seat?
It was listed as hot seat. So that's why I'm going to say it says hot seat. You would probably say about 20 names before you'd say this guy.
But the way you phrased it makes it seem like it's pressure.
Correct.
Like there's just the most amount of pressure on them.
I would say it's more pressure on them than hot seat.
Blake Miller.
Yeah, it's Blake Miller.
Yeah, he's not doesn't have a hot
Blake
seat,
Miller's
but he
not
needs
on the
to step
hot
in
seat.
immediately.
What are we talking about? He's on the hot seat. Come on, CBS Sports.
He's not on the hot seat, but he does need to step in immediately and be playing high-level football. Because if he's like a weak link in the chain, all of a sudden the offensive line is not good yet again.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of pressure on him, but he's certainly not on the hot seat by any means.
Has there been a draft pick from Brad Holmes that has had more pressure on them to compete on day one, more so than there is with Blake Miller?
I
don't think so.
I think Arnold had a pretty good amount, just based off of the situation. Like, the Lions were literally coming off of their DBs being, homeless men, and they needed Terrion Arnold to step in and be pretty good, and he wasn't.
I would throw Terrion Arnold high up the list, but I don't think as high as Miller. Like, with the regression that the Lions had in their offensive line last year, plus you're kind of filling in for Penei Sewell, who's kicking over. I mean, the O-line is the bread and butter, and the fact that it took a step back last year and then they took a guy who started more career games at offensive tackle than any other player in the history of college football.
Yeah.
True. You kind of have to play well. With Terrion, it was like, you can't be as worse as these other guys, and kind of was.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at the Covenant Healthcare Orthopedics and Sports Medicine injury report. We got the Tigers PR injury update yesterday. Riley Green on it. Not like bad news, but I wouldn't say like super encouraging either. They just say Riley Green is completing daily progression to returning to baseball activity. I mean, is that good? Is that bad? I don't really know. Riley Green was, of course, placed on the 10-day injured list last week, so he's still got a few more days left on the injured list, but who knows if he'll be able to return right away. Tigers need him. They need everything right now to get back into this race. I know that Ben says that he's kind of accepted fate for the Tigers, but I certainly know that you're still rooting for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they still got a shot.
Yeah, and they've got to do that with anybody but Riley Green.
I just up until yesterday really thought that this was the final playoff team, and now I've accepted that's probably not the case.
There's still so many teams, but none of them want it. That's the craziest part. It's just like,
but is it going to feel good to get into the playoffs if they're like 78 and 83 or like 81 and 80? Yeah, 81 and 81. Like, it feels like the wild card team. This final spot might be a team below 500.
But like in this American League, does it really matter? Like,
I guess people aren't going to ask
feel good
what your
to get
is.
in? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
With how weak everything is in general, like
I think there's a pretty good shot that the winning team for that last wild card spot has 80 wins.
I mean, they're on track to right now.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Twins are 63 and 65 and in the final wild card spot right now.
It's just going to come down to who wins their last series and then a bunch of tiebreakers.
Yeah. Pretty outrageous stuff. The Twins have that final spot right now. The Rangers are a half game back. Blue Jays are 1 game back. And then you've got Guardians, Orioles, Tigers all tied 1.5 games back. Of course, the Tigers are not in action tonight, so at least they can't blow the game tonight. That's fun. And they have another prime opportunity ahead of them this weekend, taking on the Kansas City Royals, who are really, really bad. And they have Troy Melton on the mound on Friday as well to kick off that series Friday, an 8:10 first pitch in Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a series you have to win. A sweep would go a long ways, too.
Oh, you know what now is a good time for?
Tell me.
Another rendition of Where the Hell is Justin Verlander? Now feels like a good time for that. Drew Anderson is about to make his fourth start.
Drew Anderson's been fine in these spot starts.
Did we think it was gonna last this long? I certainly didn't. I thought Flaherty would be at least on progression to return. It doesn't sound like he's gonna make a rehab start, so I don't know if he's gonna return relatively soon. Where the hell's Justin Verlander? Some sort of River Ryan update would be kind of sick.
Nope.
None of
They're
that
in
stuff.
the hyperbolic chamber.
Which actually was River Ryan / Justin Verlander on that Tigers PR
Verlander
thing?
was. He's playing catch. That was the update.
He's playing catch. Okay.
Playing catch.
What's a better update, that one or that the Oklahoma State head coach shot an armadillo in his backyard? What's a better update?
It's got to be the armadillo, right? At least it made us click onto a useless story. Maybe the most useless story I've ever read in my entire life.
I mean, ESPN just I don't
got
know
a push
what
notification about it, man. I was like, the Oklahoma coach shot what? And then I read it, and it was like 2 paragraphs about just like, yeah, there was a rodent in his yard, and he shot it. Okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the Jack Flaherty update is he is completing a return to play throwing progression. Justin Verlander is playing catch. Nothing on River Ryan. Okay.
I think there's a pretty good chance Justin Verlander is never pitching
No, he's
again.
gonna pitch again. He's gonna.
All right.
I mean, he basically announced it when but if we're at the end of August.
I thought it was going to be like hey, here's Verlander out of the pen in the playoffs. This is going to be electric. Your crowd's going to love it. If they're not in the playoffs, I don't get how it's going to happen.
I think, though, I do think, and maybe if they're in a playoff race, this will be difficult to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Verlander will, even if he isn't, like, good to go, will come out and pitch.
Yeah.
Like, he'll start a game, pitch an inning type thing or something, you know? Like, he will pitch again at Comerica Park. I think that just is going to happen no matter what. I just don't know if it's going to be a legit Verlander outing.
I would be shocked.
You know?
I'd be shocked.
But we'll see. Let's do one more thing in the news, the big news that we got yesterday, and we'll save all the rest for later. We got a trade in the NBA. Whoa, finally. Man, I've been waiting for something to happen, and it wasn't Jalen Duren. Nope, it wasn't him. He didn't sign a contract, nothing like that. It wasn't the Pistons either. But you could probably guess this, Ben. It was another team in the East that is better than the Pistons acquiring a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Watson of the Denver Nuggets, who was a restricted free agent just like Jalen Duren, and has kind of been doing the same thing as Jalen Duren, threatening to take the qualifying offer, did not want to return to Denver if they weren't going to pay him. A much different scenario because Denver literally couldn't afford to pay him, so they really didn't have another choice. They sign and trade him to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he immediately signs a 4-year, $88 million deal. This is a 5-team trade, but Max Strus goes to the Clippers in this deal. Nice pickup for the Clippers. Who did the Denver Nuggets get, you say? I mean, they lost Peyton Watson. That guy was great for them last year.
Nobody.
Nothing. They got 0 players. They got a first-round pick in 2031. That's always a good thing to acquire in the midst of one of the best players of our generation's prime.
Had to get under the apron.
Jokic going to Greece. Got to feel a little like odds went up a little bit for that after this move, right? I mean, the Nuggets are just not winning anything next year.
It'd be sick if
There's no way. They're not. I mean, not saying they're not going to be good, but they're certainly not competing to win a title next year.
Yeah, no.
There's no way.
It'd be sick if the NBA salary cap and the apron situation wasn't so strict that it basically forces you to trade away players for nothing. It'd be cool if that was the case, but I guess congratulations to Cleveland for taking advantage.
Well, Denver
of the
just doesn't want to pay
situation.
the tax, though. I mean, they could have paid him and paid the tax. They just don't want to. Which
aren't they close to being over the first or the second line already?
Yeah, they could have moved off of Cam Johnson. They could have made
mean.
other moves while keeping Peyton Watson.
Being
Instead,
a GM,
they get nothing.
Being a GM in 2026 is not for the weak-minded. It's not.
No.
You got to be 10 steps ahead. I would say, so I think it's always been football is number one importance for GM. Basketball, I would argue, like most of my childhood was probably towards the bottom. It was like, oh, if you luck into a couple draft picks and sign a free agent, you're going to be awesome.
And there was a ton of bad like there still is, but there was a lot of bad GMs.
I would say basketball's like creeping up towards how important, like nothing will ever match a football GM and how important their job is and how complicated it is and all the different things that you have to think about. Basketball's getting up there, man. To be a GM in 2026 with this current CBA, it's really difficult.
Just to navigate the rules. Yeah, I mean, because I always thought baseball GM is very difficult as well because you have an entire minor league system. It's not draft picks that you're hoping for. It's like managing all levels. Like, that's a very difficult thing to do. But yeah, I mean, basketball has been really tough. So now with Peyton Watson and that situation figured out, I don't think this means anything for Jalen Duren, but now it is all eyes pointed on Jalen Duren because it was basically him and Watson were the two guys that were like, something has to happen here at some point. So Jalen Duren, man, you've got a little bit over a month to figure this thing out with the Pistons.
Just give him a pen, give him paper. He'll sign it eventually. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. Summers in Michigan, they can get pretty hot, and the last thing you want is for your AC unit to quit on you when it is scorching outside. That's where Answer Heating and Cooling comes in. They get your AC units running efficiently so your homes stay comfortable all year long. Whether it's the winter, the summer, anything in between, Answer Heating and Cooling, keeping Midland homes cozy all year long.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Okay, so I'm glad we were able to kind of combine our minds, come to a conclusion. Maybe the season as a whole is not a success. I might have went too far, but there are a lot of things that you can point to as successful with this Detroit Tigers season. I think obviously the first front-running thing that you have to talk about is Kevin McGonigal. And I'm saying all this out loud, and it feels like we're doing a eulogy right now on the Tigers, putting our all-black attire on and celebrating it as if it's over. I don't think that's necessarily the case. We're not doing the funeral show quite yet. But my mindset did shift after yesterday watching Kenley Jansen give up a walk-off home run. I'm not necessarily locked into the Tigers making a playoff spot anymore. If they don't make it, I can accept that. I'm not going to be heartbroken. I totally understand that it's more unlikely than it is likely at this point. That's kind of how yesterday changed my perspective on the Tigers season, because going into yesterday's game, I really, from the bottom of my heart, thought they were going to win it, thought this was going to be the final wildcard team. I don't feel as strong about that anymore, just based on that game. Yeah, and it's kind of how games are going to go these days, especially rubber match games that determine a series. They are going to sway us and me and you and anybody else a pretty good amount now that there's like 35 games left.
And it's not just, I mean, yesterday's game is the ultimate version of it, but it goes back to this entire series with Chicago as well, like the way that they essentially lost both of those games. You know, you blew the game on Saturday against Chicago, and then on Sunday you really blew the game against Chicago. And then you come back and, you know, the loss against Pittsburgh in Game 2 wasn't really that bad, and now you have the worst possible version of it by blowing it via Kenley Jansen against the Pirates. So
you were about to pick up a win against Skeens. You kind of got the best of Skeens. All the rookies were doing well.
Skeens went out early. Only pitched, 4 1/3? Like,
yeah, Clark and McGonigal both had doubles on him. How you Lee had 2 runs and a couple RBIs as well against Skeens.
You were about to win a series when all the other wildcard teams lost. Like, and that is the tough part, because they're still right in it. You know, like it's not like the season is over. But you just continue to lose in this way, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, can you just kill me already kind of thing.
Back-to-back series, and I don't think this team's going to be dead until the very, very end. I think every one of these wild card teams is just going to be alive until the very last series.
We mentioned that they had this series against Kansas City, but then it's like, hey, here's 3 against the Rays and 3 against the Dodgers, 2 of the best teams in baseball. Like, you really want to do anything here?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, Kansas City, it's impossible to go into a series expecting a sweep. They go a long way over the next 9 games.
They have to sweep them, straight up. Like, they have to sweep them this weekend.
Or they have to beat the Dodgers. They have to, like, go 3-3.
Screw that. They got to sweep Kansas City, man. They're terrible. They got to beat them. And obviously they have the stretch that's after that. I know we're looking like pretty far ahead now, but that's when we have another one of those, oh, wow, here we go stretches when you go at Minnesota for 3, at Cleveland for 4, and then right back against Minnesota again for 3 more. Oh, my God. Just the AL Central gauntlet for 10 games. That's going to be pretty fun.
This team is not going to be able to they will not put us out of our misery. They will continue to fight.
They're going to drag you along further and further. I was thinking about this too with Kenley Jansen blowing it last night. You know, a lot of Tigers fans. I don't know many Tigers fans that are very pro Kenley Jansen.
No.
Good Tuesday Tower idea.
Okay.
Most frustrating Detroit athletes. Kenley Jansen is up there, man.
All time or current?
I mean, I was mainly thinking current, but I don't know if there's 10 guys currently that you're frustrated with.
Giovanni Manu.
Dylan Larkin,
Jalen Duran. Yeah.
Pretty good ones.
Torkelson.
You hate Marcus Sasser.
I don't hate Marcus Sasser.
He's no longer on the Pistons. Dude, you were watching the playoff game, it sounded like the guy killed your mother. I mean, holy smokes.
I've always liked Marcus Sasser. I just couldn't believe that they were playing him alongside Danis Jenkins in a playoff game.
He's no longer on the team anyway, so we can't use him. Other Lions, though, I mean, there's not a ton of, like, frustrating Lions.
Brian Branch started to get a little frustrating with the amount of unnecessary roughness penalties he was picking up last season.
Framber Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, Fromber's got to be on there as well.
Chris says every GM.
Every GM, okay. Not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if you included those guys, I think that would count.
Taylor Decker probably would have been number 1 on this list if you asked me 6 months ago. Dave Phipp, yeah. You want to run a linebacker as your kick returner again?
Did you see his quote that he had yesterday, too?
Remind me.
He said he prefers having someone bigger and stronger returning kickoffs for durability because those guys take some hits.
So you want to, in other words, you want a big and slow guy. You want a slow guy returning kicks.
Yeah. Greg Dortch and Tom Kennedy, by the way, are the two guys competing for the punt return.
Yep.
So. But like out of all of the guys we just said, at least for in the last calendar year, I think Kenley Jansen's number one. He's so frustrating.
I was pulling my hair out. I know because he's getting close to the 500, and every single save he has is like a celebratory moment.
And he is like a legend. Whereas like a guy like Framber Valdez, I don't like care to be a huge fan of his.
Right.
I don't like
he's
want
not
to
one of the
root
game's
for him.
greatest.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty. I don't want to be like, oh, I want to root for this guy so much.
Kenley Jansen's like a borderline Hall of Famer.
I want to, yeah, exactly. Like it would be awesome if Kenley Jansen was great for the Tigers, and he just isn't, and that's pretty frustrating.
Trying to think if anybody else is on this list.
McKinstry would be a good one for you. I feel like you get pretty frustrated with him.
Yeah, and then he makes like a great play. I think Torkelson's just way up there.
He is super frustrating.
McNeil last season.
There's a good amount of guys.
Asar.
Yeah, when he picks up dumb fouls, that's pretty frustrating.
Or when he's just like has 15 feet of space and just is kind of like staring like a deer in headlights. What do I do here?
JB Bickerstaff sometimes.
JB Bickerstaff every time he ever challenges something in the first quarter.
Yo, challenge it. Come on, JB.
989-837-6125. 10 o'clock hour next. We were just throwing a bunch of Lions at you. How about this? We jump into a Lions topic next. The defensive line, is it good enough to salvage an above-average defense and make up for lack of talent in the secondary? I'll tell you when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mix.
100.9 The Mitt. WLUN. Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on The Mitt, 10 o'clock hour, brought to you by Aired Insurance. Can the Lions' defensive line make up for the secondary, which will likely not feature Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph to open up the season? So you're looking at guys like Chuck Clark, Avonte Maddox, Rock Yassin, a bunch of guys who are going to be starters for the Lions, probably better as backups elsewhere. It's not even a disrespect to those guys. It's just kind of the cards that the Lions were dealt with 2 injuries with their starting safeties and then cutting a first-round corner before the season starts. But it's not all bad. PFF ranked all the defensive lines in the NFL, and the Lions came out as the 10th best one. If the Lions have a top 10 defense of line, that's going to be able to make up for a lot of negatives in the secondary. And I've got to tell you, I'm pretty bullish on this defensive line, not just because PFF ranked him the 10th best unit coming into the NFL, but think about it like this. Last year, Aiden Hutchinson, you know where he finished in Defense Player of the Year voting, Kyle? I'm going to throw a bunch of random Hutchinson stuff at you right now because I did the homework this morning.
Where did he finish in Depoy last year?
Yeah.
Like 6th?
5th. Pretty good. 14.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 1 interception, which was the 5th of his career. I went through and watched every Hutchinson interception from his career this morning before the show. Can you tell me the quarterbacks he's picked off?
I don't think I could, no. I know one of them was... Actually, just keep going.
Bryce Young, that was the one-handed screen pass he just plucked.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Justin Fields, the one where he was just like lingering on the sideline like the Lions had 10 players on the field. Remember that one? And then he just comes in and swoops a pass. Matt Stafford, the ridiculous...
Stafford was the one I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Grabs it midair. I still have no idea how he grabbed it. Probably should have been a pick 6, and he got hawked down. Aaron Rodgers, he just straight up drops back into coverage, and Rodgers didn't see him. And then Daniel Jones, he got the best of as well. Kind of a weird amount of interceptions. I always think maybe they should just like never drop him back in coverage ever. And then I see all these, and I'm like, huh. He had 100 pressures last season, which led the NFL. And there are a good amount of people out there that, what does it matter if you're not finishing the play? Here's how I know it matters. Jared Goff, when under pressure, 50% completion percentage. When kept clean, 75. A 25 percentage point difference. Aiden Hutchinson did that 100 times last year, which led the NFL. 22% win rate was only behind Myles Garrett, above Micah Parsons, by the way. And he had the second most quarterback hits in the NFL last season, too. All of that while having a pretty bad supporting cast around him outside of Al-Quadin Muhammad, who was only out there on third downs anyway. All things considered, that's pretty incredible that you had all that sort of production while having a crappy defensive line around you. Now, you go into a season with what I think is the best supporting cast that has ever been around Aiden Hutchinson. I do expect Lee McNeil to return back to his 2024 form rather than what we saw from him last year post-ACL injury. In 2024, he had the 11th best defensive tackle grade on PFF, 3.2 pressures per game, 2.5 hurries per game, 13% missed tackle rate, 14% win rate on pass rush snaps. That was 6th best in the NFL amongst DTs, 24th best run defense grade. That was 2024. Last year, he was the 95th graded out defensive tackle. 1 less pressure per game. 1/2 less hurry per game. 22% missed tackle rate, which is crazy. 10% win rate on pass rush snaps, so down 4 percentage points there. And then graded out as the 98th best run defense grade amongst defensive tackles. He just straight up wasn't good last season. Against the run, against the pass, he was a non-productive player to the point where he was borderline a liability in the middle of our defense. Say R, like I'm on the team. So if we do expect him to be closer to the 2024 version of himself, which, by the way, he's had a really strong camp. I know you got to take camp reports for what they are, but all these young guys like Ratledge and Mahogany, they rave about how good he has been. and how difficult he is to stay in front of when they are doing one-on-ones. So I think that's all positive signs. And then you go beyond that, it's Tyleik Williams going into year 2. It's Levi Wunzurike still around. It's Hasnim, who's had an incredible training camp and preseason so far. Derek Moore, who returned to practice yesterday after dealing with a little bit of a groin injury and wreaked havoc on the Lions' offensive line. DJ Woonham's still here. Skylar Gill-Howard, the 6th-round rookie, has made a very lasting impact on this team already. This is as deep and as talented as the defensive line has ever been around Aiden Hutchinson. And by the way, last year, when they were nothing more than an average group, a below-average group without Aiden Hutchinson, this team had 49 sacks, which was the 4th most in the NFL. I'm pretty bullish on the Lions' defensive line taking that leap forward and Aiden Hutchinson having the best year of his career because of the help that he now has on that defensive line. I think it's better than any supporting cast he's had during his tenure with the Lions, which makes me feel pretty good about the defensive line. And if that's going to be the case, I'm not saying it nullifies everything that's going on in the secondary, all the bad aspects of that. But man, it's going to make some of their lives easier at the very least. And I think in a lot of ways, it will make up for having a lack of stars in the secondary, at least for the first chunk of the season with no Brian Branch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it certainly will make up for it. It's just depending on how confident you are in that group to actually be that. You know, if they are that level, then yes. But
there's a lot of ifs, but also all the ifs seem kind of realistic.
Why do you think they feel realistic based off of what happened last year?
Because, okay, so McNeil, if he returns to 2024 form, okay, we've seen it. You know, it's not like I'm just projecting, making stuff up like, oh, if he was good. No, we've seen him be good. He just needs another year past his ACL injury. That's the optimistic way to spin that. Okay, automatically should be an upgrade on the defensive line if that's going to be the case. Tyleik Williams, I think, showed a lot of really encouraging flashes this year. I don't think it's all that crazy of an if to say that in year 2 he starts to gain a little confidence and can start running over some offensive linemen a little bit more and have a little bit of pass rush juice. I think the fact that the Lions invested in a 2nd-round pick in Derek Moore, if he's good, man, like, sue me for thinking that a Brad Holmes draft pick is going to be good. I think more often than not, these draft picks have been pretty good. So I am pretty bullish on this defensive line in Hutchinson continuing to develop more and more and more and turn himself into one of the best pass rushers in the NFL.
I just do think when there is a lot of question marks, it's safer than not to assume not all of them are going to spin the positive way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, can Aleem McNeil get back to where he was? Can Tyleik Williams take the huge step in year 2? You know, can somebody step up into that role that Roy Lopez was in last year?
Yeah.
Can Derek Moore be a pretty good rookie? That's a lot of question marks. I think the only one that there isn't a question about is Hutchinson, of course, and that's the most important one. You know, if your best guy in your defensive line, we feel great about, and every Lions fan does. So there's no reason to have a question mark about that. But everything else is a question. When you add in the fact that the secondary is just full of all question marks,
correct,
and most of them are like
real
question marks with 2 question marks at the end, you know, like maybe even 3.
Or it's like question mark exclamation point.
Right, yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like one of those emphasized questions.
Like, can they be any good at all?
Like a YouTube title.
That's what makes it a little bit more difficult to be like extremely optimistic about. I understand the optimism, and it's not like also the optimism is this is going to be the best defensive line in the NFL.
No,
that's not what this is. It's can they do enough to make up for the secondary that no one is optimistic about. And I think if you are, you're probably just lying to yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's more likely than not. And I get it. There's a lot of questions. I just think all these questions, it's not like we're projecting like these crazy outlier situations to happen. Oh, if a second-year player gets better. Oh, McNeil returns to a guy he was before he got his ACL injury. Like, those 2 things alone should help out the Lions' defensive line.
A first-round rookie as well, like in year 2.
Yeah, and then Derek Moore, who, again, like, dominant day at camp yesterday, according to every beat reporter out there after missing a little bit of time. Like, I'm not necessarily expecting Derek Moore to be this, like, all-pro rookie or like, make an all-rookie team by any means, but, like, can you start to show some flashes at any point in the year? Because even that would go a really long way. Hasnim's showing a lot of positive, encouraging signs in preseason, too. Like, it's all there for the Lions to go have a dominant defensive line. Not the best in the NFL. They're not going to be this, like, unit that needs a nickname based after them, but like, can they be a fairly efficient unit and make up for a lot of the lack of talent in the secondary? I think the answer is absolutely yes, and that gets me pretty excited for this team, which we're already very bullish on the offense. How would you stack up every position group, though? Ranking every position group on the Detroit Lions. I'm going to do that when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. The show, like I said, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. When the seasons change, Maple Hill Nursery is hard at work for you. During the summer, they offer mowing services, the winter, snowplow services, spring and fall cleanup in between, so your yard looks its best year long. From winter to spring, summer, fall, everything in between, Maple Hill Nursery is your all-season lawn and landscape partner here in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, welcome back in. Here's what we want to do today. I want to rank the Lions position groups. I split it up into 6 different categories, and I was honestly pretty shocked as to what I had as the last group, Kyle. That's kind of where I want to get to. So starting with number 1, I just had the weapons, skill guys. I didn't classify it as receivers, tight ends, running back, just all the weapons in general. Clearly the best unit on this team. I don't think that's really up for debate. Number 2, I went quarterback. Any pushback there? Or has Jared Goff earned enough credit to be the second best unit on this team alone?
I mean, you said you split it up into 6 groups, so I kind of need to hear all of them before I make a decision.
Okay, number 3 was the defensive line. Number 4 was the linebackers. Number 5 was the secondary. And the last unit for right now, I think, just has to be the offensive line, which did surprise me because I do think they've addressed it a lot during the offseason. They went and drafted Blake Miller. They went and signed Cade Mays, who's hurt right now. It looks different. But that's the unit where it's like, yeah, in theory it's better, but I just need to see this on paper and on tape and actually see the 5 guys together and what it looks like before I'm ready to just crown it as a majorly upgraded unit. I think for right now, it still lasts for me because they have everything to prove. And at least in the secondary, like, I know what the expectation is going into it. The expectation is that it's not all that great. And you can make up for that with different schemes and stuff. But, like, I know what I'm getting with the secondary at the very least. With the offensive line, the reason I had them ranked last is I just don't really know what version of them I'm getting. If it's last year, that's a major problem. If it's an upgrade from that, okay, maybe they jump the secondary. But we have no idea. So, for that reason, I feel like it just kind of has to be last right now until we see it gel together because there's a lot of new faces on this offensive line. And even best case scenario, it's not like they're going to be hitting their stride week 1. It's going to take them 8 weeks, 9 weeks to really start to piece this thing together. So I had the offensive line ranks last, and I didn't think I was going to do that when I started doing the exercise. But the more and more I thought about it, I just didn't know what the justification would be, what the reasoning would be for having them any higher than this, really, other than just saying Penei Sewell's name over and over again.
But why over the second, or why under the secondary? Like, what does the secondary have that is anything better than a version of Penei Sewell and friends?
An all-star duo as safeties when they're healthy, Brian Branch and Kirby, but I don't know if we're ever getting that again. I think the biggest reason I had them 6th and not 5th was mostly just the uncertainty as to what it looks like. And last year, and also because I think a bad offensive line is more impactful than having a bad secondary, and we saw that last year. The Lions could survive without a great secondary. I'm not sure the Lions can be who they want to be if they have a bad offensive line. So that's the reason I had the Lions offensive line last.
Because they can't survive unless they're good?
I think that's kind of quintessential to the Lions being one of these Super Bowl teams that we expect them to be. If they don't have an upgraded offensive line from last year, which in theory they should, but we are yet to see it, then that I think is more impactful for how the Lions season goes versus a bad secondary, which we expect and still can work around with a good defense of line with a good offense. Like you can make up for a bad secondary. I'm not sure you can make up for being a bad offensive line the way that this team is constructed as it is right now. But those were the last 2 linebackers I had sandwich in the middle. Defensive line I had as 3, quarterback and weapons. There's probably like a tier gap after 1. I think the weapons arguably the best in the NFL. Defensive line and quarterback are probably similar. It's like, yeah, these are like top 10-ish units. The linebacking unit's an interesting one to really rank because it's like Jack Campbell's one of the best in the entire league. And it's kind of Jack Campbell and company. And then you have the secondary and the offensive line kind of in their own group as well, where it's like, cross your fingers. Hope that this is better than it was last year. Or hope that Brian Branch gets healthy as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, the linebacker group, in my head, like just based off of when you initially laid out the 6, feels like they would be higher.
I just don't know what's the justification for putting them any higher.
Right.
That's the thing. Which is probably a good thing.
Because it is Jack Campbell and friends, but it mainly does consist of Jack Campbell. It's similar to like Aiden Hutchinson and friends in the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely better other options on the defensive line than in the linebacker group, but it's also a larger group in general.
Yeah.
So you're going to have better options anyways.
Yeah, I think Jack Campbell doesn't really have a McNeil anymore now that Anzalone's gone. That was kind of his version of McNeil, where it's like, yeah, this guy's not really a Pro Bowler, but the fans love him. We know what this guy's capable of. He does all this small stuff, not really making any mistakes. I'm talking about like 24 McNeil and every year of Anzalone, except that first season he was here when everybody around him was terrible. But Hutchinson at least has one of those guys. He has a Robin. Jack Campbell doesn't really have a Robin anymore unless you want to consider it to be Derek Barnes, but I don't think I'm quite ready to give Derek Barnes that type of praise, even though he's super malleable and can do a lot of different things, whether he's playing that Sam linebacker, will linebacker, on the line, off the line, dropping into coverage, whatever it is. He can do a lot of different things, wear a lot of different hats, but I don't think he's the level that Anzalone has been over the past couple of seasons.
No, I don't think so either.
So then it gets you into a weird situation where it's like, okay, Jack Campbell rocks, but everyone else is kind of, Jack Campbell and friends. So how do you rank them? I just kind of sandwich them in the middle between the bad units and the good units. Because I think weapons, quarterback, those are elite. Weapons is truly
Weapons is no doubt number one. There's an argument to be made that maybe quarterback should be lower. I don't have it, though. Like, I think I agree with you.
I'm trying to think if there's a better group of weapons in the NFL right now. Like, is there a better group of weapons that a GM or a quarterback would rather have than Gibbs, Laporta, J-Mo, and St. Brown just as your top 4 guys? I really don't think so. There's maybe an argument with, like, I mean, ironically, like Arizona, just because of the youth with Trey McBride and Jeremiah Love, but like Marvin Harrison hasn't all been that great. I wouldn't go there. St. Brown and J-Mo is better than any of the options for their receiver room.
You're saying in the best in the NFL or just the NFC?
The NFL, honestly.
And Arizona was the first team you threw out?
I don't know. Fresh on my mind.
Yeah, I mean, looking across the league, I mean, like the Rams is really good.
Yeah, I mean, Puka and Devontae is hard to top. That's definitely a better
I still think the Bengals is
duo.
pretty good, but they mainly are just made up of receivers.
The Lions have the depth. Like
They have the depth at each position. Like, that's what makes them great. They don't have the best wide receiver duo in the league. They don't have the best tight end in the league, but they have top X at both of those. And then they have the best running back in the league.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better option 3, option 4 in the NFL than Sam Laporta and J-Mo. If Amon-Ra and Gibbs are your 1-2, is there a better 3-4 option than Laporta and J-Mo? Probably not.
No.
And hell, you can even open that up to, is there a better 1-2 than Gibbs and Amon-Ra? You'd probably be pretty hard-pressed to find a better 1-2
receiver guy. RB duo. Yeah, I mean, like when A.J. Brown was still on the Eagles, I think that and Barkley had a good case. Not really anymore.
Yeah, because
JSN and K9 could have been one, but he's gone.
I mean, even if those guys were together, I think Amon-Ra and Gibbs clear those guys. Yeah, like that's the thing. The weapons are not only elite, I think it's the best in the NFL. I don't think there's a better option in the NFL.
Mike Evans and CMC, but like
Mike Evans
the
is
old heads, yeah. They have like the 49ers weapons are still pretty good because of Kittle obviously being there, but their wide receiver room is just pretty weak.
And old.
Yeah.
And electric substation. Kind of factors in at this point. Yeah, like Laporta being the 5th option is just, or 4th option is pretty crazy. And then I feel like we've talked enough about Jared Goff over the past month or so that our stance on him is kind of clear. Top 10 quarterback. Stats reflects he's a top 5 quarterback. Think he's going to get better as he ages gracefully. Like, there's no reason to think he won't keep getting better the way that Stafford did.
But does having him second, like having him as the second group, mean more about him or more about the rest of the groups?
Probably more about the rest of the groups. Like, if the offensive line by week 10 is gelling and it's like, oh, okay, we've got something here, and they jump up to like 3, and the defensive line, let's say they just ball out this year and they jump to 2.
Like, they could jump over Goff, yeah.
That would be ultimately a good thing, because I don't think it means Jared Goff played his way out of it. I think it just means, oh, the defensive line hit their upside. That's the thing with Goff. Like, there is such a high floor to
That's what I was
going to
say. I don't, and this could come back to backfire. I just don't see a world where he just like craps his pants.
Not for a full season.
Yeah, like
maybe for a game or a half.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
not for a season.
That's any quarterback, you know. So, yeah, if he fell on this list, I think that would ultimately be a good thing. The question I had about the defensive line group, you know, you obviously had them 3rd on this ranking. Is this the best you felt about the defensive line in the Holmes-Campbell era?
Yeah.
At least since the Lions have been contenders. Obviously, when they weren't good, it wasn't good.
Yeah, because I think last year was the first time Hutchinson, there was the 5 games in 2024 when he certainly looked like a defensive player of the year, and he's playing all the backup tackles. But last year was the first full season he put together where it's like, yeah, I think this guy can win a DPOY in his career.
Yeah, because this is the best version of Hutchinson going into this year, which that should just matter the most of anything.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's the best supporting cast with McNeil and Tyleek, and it's just deep with Derek Moore and Hasneem and Skylar Gill-Howard.
And it's young. Like, I think that's the part that's so exciting, is how young the group is, because over the last several years, the injuries have played. Not saying young guys can't get injured, but like we know the old guys are much more plagued for injury. The Levi Onzariquez wasn't even old, but just so injury prone. Josh Pascal, obviously Marcus Davenport. You see he signed with the Bears, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, pretty hilarious. Zadarius Smith, too. Like, the age of the defensive line certainly was like, oh, man, this kind of stinks. And that's why I didn't love the idea of going out and signing one of the old heads like the Joey Bosa's or Khalil Mack's. Just from that perspective of, man, I would rather get some youth into this group. And they did exactly that. I think that's what's most exciting to me about the defensive line.
You know, McNeil and Hutchinson are the oldest guys on this D-line.
Really? They don't even have like a vet?
Woonham, I guess, is older, I think.
I don't think he's that old.
But just in terms of like longest tenured guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Woonham's 28. Woonham. Hutchinson, like it's kind of weird that like Hutchinson and Panay and Goff are kind of just the longest tenured guys in the teams at this point on both sides of the ball. There are leaders now. They're no longer young guys. They are like the alpha dogs on each side of the ball, which I think is a good thing. Makes it more fun. 989-837-6125. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back. Specialty Infusion Center, it's coming to Midland. Opening now. Their experienced team provides personalized infusion care in private, comfortable suites with insurance verification, referral support, and even home infusions when appropriate. They're accepting new referrals now. Call 989-214-4998 or visit specialtyinfusioncenter.com to learn more.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The
All right, I have been left in the dark. What is going on? All I know is we're about to take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
I don't know what's happening. Kyle won't tell me about this segment.
Yep, it's time for me to quiz Ben. It's been a while. Ben likes to quiz me. I don't like that. So I'm going to quiz Ben. Here we go.
Okay.
Football season is almost here. Let's do some football trivia. Your fantasy football season is about to happen. You got to figure out who to draft. Let's look back at the last so many years. Ben, since 2016, a.k.a. the last 10 football seasons, I just need you to give me the top 10 players in receiving touchdowns. That's all I need.
That's it.
That's all I need.
10 years receiving touchdowns.
10 years. Who are the receiving touchdowns leaders in the NFL over the last decade? I had to go to school for this decade.
I would imagine if
I
this
give you 3
person's
strikes.
not... This person's definitely in the top 10. I'm trying to think of how high up they might be. Give me Devontae Adams.
Yep, he's number 1.
Oh, really?
113. He's got 20 more than number 2.
I mean, it makes sense. He's 33 years old and still
He fits
damn near the top of the league.
He fits this timeline perfectly. He's been in the league for this whole entire time and has scored a lot of touchdowns as well.
Let's go with... Just trying to think of players that, like...
Because it's tough. Do you try to go for guys that existed in the whole timeline or really good guys but haven't existed for the whole timeline?
I feel like Hopkins has to be on this, right?
DeAndre Hopkins is number 6 with 66 touchdowns, about half as many as Devontae Adams.
That's crazy. Adams is nuts, man. He just has aged like fine wine.
It's unbelievable. Still really good, yeah.
See, I want to go like...
all that Taco Bell in his house, you know?
Like Jefferson and Chase are calling my name, but like I just don't know if they've been in the league long enough. They've been in the league half the amount of time. Larry Fitzgerald, probably too old. I think Antonio Brown, too old too. But man, his prime was something else. Yeah, but his prime was even before 2016. Julio Jones.
Julio Jones.
What?
Julio Jones, man, you got to remember, Julio Jones notably did not score a lot of touchdowns. He was the yards guy. He just was not.
Crazy.
He was not a touchdowns guy. Julio Jones is shockingly not even in the top 25.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Is this restricted to just receivers?
This is receiving touchdowns.
Then give me Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce is number 4. 72 touchdowns. I'll give you this. Actually, I won't give you this. Just keep going.
Okay.
You've got 1 strike early, though.
Tyreek Hill.
Not a good sign. Tyreek Hill, though, is right up here with his former teammate, Travis Kelce.
Was
He's
that the
third.
hit you were about to give me?
No.
Oh.
He's third, 83 touchdowns. So you've got 1 in Adams, 3 Hill, 4 Kelce, 6 Hopkins.
Can you tell me how many current players are still active players are on it?
Yeah, I could tell you that. Give me one moment because I just found something interesting with one of the names that you brought up, and I wanted to double check this. You know how you said Jefferson's calling my name?
Yeah.
I'll just tell you he's not on here. You know how St. Brown's got more touchdowns than Justin Jefferson?
Uh-huh.
It's just crazy. The fact you're like, Jefferson's calling my name. St. Brown's got more touchdowns in his in his whole career. Kind of crazy. Okay, how many current guys are on this list? That's what you're asking me?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's a tie for 10th. Okay, so here's what I'll say.
But does Hopkins still count as active?
No, I'm just going up the guys you still have left.
Oh, so it's almost all active guys.
All of these guys played in the NFL last year. 2 of them, I do not know if they are on a team.
Okay.
All of them played in the NFL last year, though. That's the hint that I have.
Every guy I have
Every guy you have left played in the NFL last season. And some of them I know are in here. Most of these guys are at the end of their career. One of them is still in their prime. The rest of them are for the most part at the end of their career, of being good at least. I mean, these are good. These are really good guys. Like,
I
shouldn't be like a mind bender. You've got an offensive player of the year in here. You've got Two guys that played for the same team for a really long time.
As teammates?
As teammates. They were roommates.
I was just thinking that. Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, number 2 on here. Yes, Mike Evans, 93 touchdowns. Another guy that fits this timeline about perfectly. So you've got the top 4. You're missing number 5, number 7, number 8, number 9. And then there's a 3-way tie for 10th. If you get one of them, I'll just give you the other 2.
I'm going division by division, trying to think of like teams with just great wide receivers on them.
Jamar Chase, by the way, is the first guy off the list at 54 touchdowns.
So Amon-Ra shortly off of the list as well.
Yeah, he's down at 22. He's got 10 less. I mean, Chase has 10 more touchdowns than St. Brown. Pretty crazy.
Okay. I don't think Godwin's done enough to be on this list, so I'm not going to say him. I think
Not
Evans
him.
is probably
not even,
the only
not
guy.
in the top 20.
Yeah,
I only have the top 25, so.
I don't think there's been anybody on Atlanta if Julio Jones is not going to make it, so I'll pass on them. DK Metcalf?
Are you guessing DK Metcalf?
Yes.
He's close. He's tied with Jamar Chase, so he's tied for the first guy off the list. 54 touchdowns for DK. You've got a guy that attended the same school as DK Metcalf.
A.J. Brown.
Correct. A.J. Brown is the best guy left on this list, I would say, currently. He's tied for 10th, so I'll give you the other 2 guys that are tied with him in the 10th spot, just so you don't guess them on accident.
Okay.
Mark Andrews is tied with A.J. Brown, 56 touchdowns. And Tyler Lockett, former teammate of DK Metcalf.
I wouldn't have gotten those 2, I don't think.
Okay, so you have 1 strike remaining. You're missing number 5, number 7, 8, 9. One of these guys recently... Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, finish.
One of these guys recently signed with a new team.
Like this offseason?
Like very recently did. This offseason. I don't want that to... there's 2 guys that did. So
Diggs?
Okay, yes, it is Diggs. I didn't want you to think it was Keenan Allen because he also just did. And I'm like, that might have been a misleading hint.
I got another one,
Stephon
too.
Diggs is 5th, yes.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, there you go. That's the former Offensive Player of the Year that I said. 59th, or 59 touchdowns. He's 8th. So you're missing just number 7 and number 9. These are the 2 guys that I said were in the NFL last year. One of them for sure retired last year. The other guy, I think, is still in the league, but I don't know what team he's on.
That is not helpful.
Both good guys. One of them is one of my most hated wide receivers ever. One of my most hated players ever. And then the other guy is he's just a guy. He's a Jag. Do you want any sort of hint? I mean, I think me hating him should help. Why would I hate a guy? Probably because the Lions play him a lot.
I know. I have a guess, but there's just no way it's Randall Cobb, right?
No. This guy was in the NFL last year. You just forget about this guy. You forget how long he stuck around and how good he was as well.
NFC?
NFC North.
I'm tripping. I don't know.
Not on the Packers.
You're going to have to give it to me. I don't know.
Adam Thielen.
Adam freaking Thielen. Yeah.
I hate him.
Yeah.
He's 7th on this list with 63 touchdowns. Do you want the other one? Do you want the 9th place guy? Or do you want to try to guess that one?
Give me a hint.
He's played for like 4 different... He was traded in the peak of his career twice.
It sounds like Hopkins. I
don't know if that helps a ton. Yeah, kind of like Hopkins was. I don't think he ever peaked as high as Hopkins did. He played for... Should I just tell you the team he played for last?
Sure.
He played for the Bills last.
Played for the Bills last.
I think. I don't think he played for a different team last year other than them. Yeah, he played for the Bills last. I just don't know if he's still on the Bills or if he's on any team.
Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Who is it?
Got traded when he was in his rookie contract. Oh, no, he's on it. Okay, so I did not know he was on this team.
Give me one other team he's played for.
He played for the Raiders at the beginning of his career. That was like... He was very good at the beginning of his career for the Raiders. Was traded to the Cowboys after.
Oh. Cooks. Brandon Cooks.
Not Brandon Cooks. Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper,
which he actually is not on an NFL team right now. So, yeah, I didn't know if he was on a team or not. I don't think he's announced his retirement. Maybe he has. If he has, then shout out to Amari Cooper.
Remember in fantasy in 2024 when he had something like 6 touchdowns the last 3 weeks of the season?
Yeah, for when he was on the Browns, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, he dominated that for the Browns. So, yeah, your top 10 in receiving touchdowns over the last 10 years. Devonta Adams, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Diggs, Hopkins, Thielen, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, and A.J. Brown. No Lions.
That's okay. St. Brown will be on this list when we do it from this whole decade. When we do like this whole decade in the 20s, St. Brown will be on it.
I turned it down.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt. That is around the league. You don't have to be a pro to get pro-level healthcare. Whether you're hitting the gym, the field, or just staying active, Covenant Healthcare Sports Medicine helps you prevent injuries, recover quicker, and keep doing what you love.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
(989-837-6125). So to that point we were making about the position group rankings, if I just inserted coaching into this as well, where would Dan Campbell stack up amongst this? If I just threw in coaching
staff or just the coach? I think it's got to be the
coaching
staff as a
staff,
whole, right?
Yeah. Weapons 1, quarterback 2, defensive line 3, linebackers 4, secondary 5, offensive line 6. Where would you insert coaching staff?
Obviously, we don't know Drew Petzing, how much to trust him yet.
Kelvin Shepard.
I like
up
Kelvin
and down
Shepard, but I think he's doesn't have a 100% approval rate, that's for sure. The Miami Dolphins certainly think so.
He just hasn't done enough yet.
I think I would put them. Yeah, because here's like a really tough question, and obviously the coordinator's part makes this even weirder. Is Dan Campbell ranked higher as a head coach than Jared Goff is as a quarterback? Like we say, Jared Goff is a top
slightly.
10 quarterback, but he's definitely towards 10, and probably is 9 or 10. He's 8 through 10, probably, right?
And when I did the coach rankings earlier this offseason, I had Dan Campbell
higher
7th.
Higher than that.
So
yeah.
very close, but I have Dan Campbell as a
But I almost want to
little
put them
bit better.
third. I almost want to put them third. I think the coordinators bring them down a little bit, which
they're unproven.
Yeah, it sounds like mean to say that. Not even mean. It just sounds like being harsh on them.
Yeah, congrats on doing whatever you did in Arizona, Drew Petzing. You put up some
Yeah, we
really
don't
nice
know.
numbers when you guys were losing, but you got to come do it here in Detroit before we're ready to rank you
That's what
super
I'm
high.
saying. So yeah, I think I would wedge coaching staff between quarterback and defensive line.
I might
Mainly
even
from
put
a
him after
trust
defensive
thing.
line.
Really?
Yeah.
Man,
Simply
you really are high on the D-line this year. I mean, I don't hate it.
I'm just high on Hutchinson, man. I'm high on Hutchinson with a supporting cast.
Let me get high on Hutchinson.
I'll get high on Hutchinson. Why not? I like the fact that he finished 5th in DPOY last year when, for the most part, he didn't have a Lee McNeil, and even when a Lee McNeil was there, he was pretty bad. And then his other best defensive line guy was either a rookie or a guy who's only in on third downs. They didn't have any other down-to-down players on that defensive line, and he still put up 14.5 sacks and finished 5th in DPOY. What's he going to look like when there's a bunch of other real starters, NFL-caliber talent on that team? I think we're about to find out, and that's something I'm really looking forward to heading into the season. I may have already bet on Aiden Hutchinson to win Defense Player of the Year, and I would advise those betting folks out there to take a peek at it.
Okay, let's do this then. Because I had this question stashed, and I was going to do it for a video, and then I decided everyone's going to have the same answer, so I'm not even going to ask it. But you being so high on Hutchinson, you also are high on Gibbs, and you're high on everybody, so it's a little tough.
High on life.
I guess so. Just the Lions, man. This guy thinks the Lions can do it all.
I really do.
What's more likely to happen in your brain? Not in the eyes of Vegas, not in the eyes of whatever. In your brain, Hutchinson to win the DPOY or Gibbs to win the Offensive Player of the Year? Because you say you've bet on Hutchinson. Do you have a Gibbs ticket? I bet
Yeah,
you don't.
I've got them both.
Oh. There's no way they both do, by the way. There's no chance they both win it. So anyone who parlays them together,
Don't parlay them.
you're an idiot.
But I think if you bet on both of them individually, you've got a halfway decent shot of winning one of them. I'll go with Gibbs. Just because Myles Garrett's still out there. He might have Aaron Donald on his team.
Yeah, I mean, Gibbs is the right answer, and that's why I've never really used that topic because it's an obvious one.
Gibbs is plus 650 and Hutchinson's plus 1,000 to win the award. But they're both top three guys. Like, Gibbs is the favorite to win the award, and Hutchinson is the third, only behind Garrett and Will Anderson. Like, that shows you what Vegas thinks of Hutchinson. I just have no reason to think that Hutchinson has hit his ceiling in terms of what he can become in terms of his pass rushing
This year
ability.
should be the best year of his career. It should be. And if it's not, I think that's disappointing.
I agree with that. Every year he's gotten better and better and better. I don't think there's reason to think that all of a sudden that's going to hit a wall at any point. I got Hutchinson at 11-1. Now he's just 10-1 to win the award. I got Gibbs at plus 1,000. Now he's plus 650. Man, this is what you call sniping value in the middle of the offseason. I got Mahomes to win. When did I bet him to win MVP? Those have worse odds now, so I guess bad bet by me. I really thought I bet him to win comeback player of the year, and I guess I never did that.
No, Donald was the guy.
I bet Donald to win comeback player of the year plus
like I
750.
said, I have not done my full futures picks yet. I'm kind of waiting till the last second, especially with all the injuries that we've been getting throughout training camp.
You want to bet on assistant coach of the year? Because that's something you can do.
Man, it's pretty rough.
Mike McDaniel's the favorite.
Yeah. Ben Johnson won that once upon a time, I believe.
I can't believe you can bet on that.
Yeah, that's actually ridiculous. But I think I mentioned this before. I think the futures plus paying your league dues for all your fantasy football, like that's what makes this time of the year is so exciting until you have to do all of that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, crap, I'm in 6 fantasy leagues, and I got to make my futures. That's like a requirement.
Survivor pool here.
Yeah, like I have to. It's just like,
here.
oh, let me just throw away a bunch of money that I'm probably not going to win any of it back. But it's fun to do, right?
It's worth the price of admission, even if you lose all of it, to be honest. I really do think it's just worth the price. Okay. That's going to do it for the Lions. We have to pivot to the Tigers because I caused a little bit of commotion earlier by saying that this Lions season was a success. I'm going to half backtrack. I'm going to take one step backwards, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there's not certain reasons that were successful this year or certain points that you can look at and point to and say, success, 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 success. So I am excited to do that. We have to come up with a future show, by the way, just since we were just talking about it.
Oh, we for sure will.
We'll have to, before week 1, just do all of our futures bets on the show live.
100%. I mean,
we can do over-unders on the season for all the teams as well.
NFL opening game is the 9th, I believe. Yeah. So we have plenty of time to do that.
And we get Wednesday, Thursday football back-to-back. Then we get...
we're less than 3 weeks away. So, yeah, sometime during that first week of September or even that second week of September, do the futures show.
That sounds like a plan to me. We
Can't
could
wait.
just do it the week leading up into that season because that Wednesday is going to be like Christmas. Having Seattle and the Patriots play each other head-to-head.
Right, football on a Wednesday, and I don't even care. I'm excited for it.
I was pissed
now,
when they announced
Blackout
it.
Wednesday, I'll be pissed. I am going to remain pissed about the Blackout Wednesday game.
Yeah, they're supposed to be meaningless college hoops on
100%.
Blackout Wednesday. That's it. It's
There
the only
should
thing
not
you're
be
supposed to care
anything
about.
I have to lock into. The only thing I have to lock into is avoiding people that I don't really want to see.
Correct. That was me last year, and then watching Michigan just BTA somebody. It was somewhere in that Vegas tournament, they were cooking somebody. Gonzaga, I think it was.
Yeah, no, they were. Wait, Michigan State, you're saying?
Michigan.
Oh, yeah, it was. I think it was Auburn. No, I think it was Gonzaga. You're right, yeah.
Murdered them.
That was awesome.
Murdered them.
Yeah.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mint. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. 11 o'clock hour when we come back here on 100.9 The Mint.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mint.
WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
All right, welcome back into the show. I will tell you guys, I think there is a lot more success to point to with the Detroit Tigers season than most people are willing to admit. And I will backtrack slightly by saying the entire season is a success. But I'm only backtracking slightly. Yeah, if you want to say they don't make the playoffs, total failure, I would disagree. I don't think it's a total failure. Because look at the success stories from this season. Kevin McGonigal is an MVP type player. That is a franchise dude, franchise bat, super duper star.
I think we got to be careful with MVP nowadays. Feel
Start throwing a guy around.
Yeah, the second
in
we say
conversation.
MVP talks, like, oh, never mind. He actually stinks.
Dingler still hasn't really figured it out.
No.
Yes, you have a McGonigal. That's a success story. You have Max Clark. That is a success story too. The power that dude has is not something I expected. You have Jose Brisson, or you also have Jose Brisson. You have Hao Yuli and Eduardo Valencia. Those are success stories for Scott Harris. When Scott Harris first showed up, I don't think his goal was to make the playoffs with Green and Dingler and that Torkelson core. They just got really hot over the last month and somehow made the playoffs, and he was like, what is this? This is ridiculous. Then they had that amazing first half of the season in 25. And Scott Harris still didn't want to go buy in at the deadline because, again, this isn't really his team. It wasn't his team. Now, for the very first time, this Tigers team that we're watching is a Scott Harris team. I know Hao Yuli wasn't drafted by him, but guess what? That's his guy. Eduardo Valencia wasn't drafted by him, but guess what? That's his guy. This is a very different Tigers team than what we've seen the past couple of years, and I think there is a way higher ceiling with the roster that we currently are watching rather than the roster that they've had each of the past two seasons. So if you want to say it's not a successful season because they didn't make the playoffs, I'm not going to tell you you're totally wrong about that. But I don't think it's a complete and utter failure what happened this season. I do think there are a lot of individual success points to point to this season. And for that reason, I am still very excited about what this roster looks like. And I'm not trying to do the homer, the bias, this team can do nothing wrong, because I think Scott Harris has made a lot of big-time mistakes. And I think one of them was caring too much about the future last year when the deadline rolled around and not going and trading for a bat. Like, those are all things that happen, and he can't just erase them by having all his young guys come up and play well. But all his young guys right now are coming up and playing well, which has to matter to some extent. Yesterday, they lost again. They sold the game. Kenley Jansen comes in and gives up 2 home runs in the 9th inning, and they end up losing. A lot of people arguing they should have traded for bullpen arms. Who? Tell me who. Tell me what bullpen arms they should have traded for. Exactly. There was one guy that got traded who was a bullpen arm of value. At the trade deadline, he went to Pittsburgh. So there's that. I have not given up, but accepted that this team's fate is probably not going to be the postseason. And I'm okay with that because I'm still extremely bullish for what this team looks like, what they can become, how high their ceiling is down the line, and they still got a chance to go make the postseason, even if they're 4 games under 500 right now. So that's kind of where I'm at after yesterday's big-time loss to the Pirates.
Yeah, I think it's just hard to have, like, I appreciate the optimism. It's hard to have that after yesterday's game. Like, just knowing how much different we would be talking today. This topic wouldn't even be a thought if the Tigers just close out that game and win it yesterday. You'd be feeling good because they would be a half game out of the wild card spot. They would be above all these other teams because they all lost yesterday, and there was another grand opportunity to get back into this thing. And like, I understand, yes, I feel good about the future as well, but that doesn't mean I don't want them to win in the now, and especially since we all know they're capable of. Like, a lot of this future stuff that you're talking about, they're all here right now.
Yeah,
like, these guys are here.
True.
You say, like, oh, when Riley Green becomes the 3rd best bat on the team, he already is. Like, the future that we're so excited about, for the most part, is here. And yes, there are some ancillary pieces and potentially guys that are going to be major parts of this lineup at some point, like a Jose Briseño yet to be added and a Zaire Hope yet to be added. That probably won't come until 2027. But still, like, all of the reasons why we're excited about this team is that they're doing it currently at the big league level. And so when they're not able to, have that success, when the opportunity is right there in front of them, it's hard to sit here and be like, but I feel really good about it. I feel super good. No, I don't. Now, none of those young guys are in the bullpen, so it's not like we're blaming them. It's not like it's their fault. But a core that we're super excited about, this isn't like the Tigers in 2020 when there was, a couple years down the line when these prospects get up to the big leagues, we'll be excited then. But right now our team stinks. Like, no, all these guys are already here. The whole waiting game is essentially over. There's just a few guys that need to be added still.
Yeah, but you're correct. So all these guys are here. The waiting game should be over. But most of only one of them was here at the beginning of the season, Like, all these guys are rookies at the end of the day. So it's not like, even though the future's here, it's not like we would have had all these expectations for them to win a World Series if this team is mostly consisted of rookies.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this is almost being put to waste. Like, baseball is not a linear progression sport. It's not like basketball.
Ask Tampa after 2020.
It's not like football. Oh, these young guys that were rookies were pretty good. They're going to get better year in, year out. Here's Spencer Torkelson for you.
Yeah.
What does that guy's linear progression look like? It just doesn't. Baseball is so weird. Guys can have a great rookie season, and then they end up just being average or below average or bad baseball players, and it happens a lot.
Akil Baddoo.
Correct. But I'm talking even top prospects.
Sure.
Look at how we thought of Roman Anthony last year.
Yeah,
we thought that guy was the next coming of Jesus. And yet now it's like, the Red Sox are super good, and it hasn't mattered. Like, Roman Anthony has not contributed to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not saying, I'm not trying to do a Kevin McGonigal thing here. I'm just talking about all of them in general. Like, we spent a lot of time on the show this week talking about how high we are on the Tigers rookies right now, how well they're performing currently. That Game 1 win against Pittsburgh on Monday was essentially all due to the rookies. Is Hao-Yu Lee always going to be like this in this current stretch that he's in?
Hard to say.
Is Brett Callahan a big leaguer? No, but right now he's impacting the team at a big league level in a good way. Like, I just feel like all of this rookie stuff that we're excited about going forward, we cannot count on it to be back next season. And so with the opportunity right here in front of them, yeah, I'm excited about the future as well, but I want to be excited about right now because they're all playing good right now, and yet they're still losing.
Yeah, I mean, if Riley Green's playing against Pittsburgh, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they probably win the series.
Potentially.
If Riley Green's playing against the White Sox, maybe they don't get swept. Like, Riley Green, the loss of him is kind of proving to be extremely important since he has went down. Extremely important. So all of that has to matter a little bit too. I'm with you there. It is unfortunate that but like, the good news is they're also still alive. They're not totally dead.
100%.
I'm just shifting my mindset. Like, yesterday going into that day game, I would have told you this is going to be the final wild card team. I can't say that anymore. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. Whether or not they are or aren't at the end of the day, I think I'm still going to be relatively happy with not the result of the season, but a lot of different things that happened within the season. If I can offer you a half glass full perspective on this,
I think I will be too.
Thursday.
But that will come in October.
After
that
it's
will
already
be
been
once
decided.
the season is over. That will be when I'm watching the Dodgers hoist their third straight World Series trophy.
Little do you know, I'm doing reverse psychology right now. I'm writing them off. I'm saying I'm done. It doesn't work. That way they win
so
4
they can
games
start
in a row.
winning. Exactly. Oh, I don't even care if they keep losing.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
genius.
done. I'm writing them off. They're dead for all I care.
It's like when
They're
you're
gonna
waiting.
start winning.
You're like waiting for a specific notification to pop up on your phone. Or
I'm
waiting
just gonna put my phone
You're
down.
waiting for a certain person to text you back, and you're like, instead of just sitting there looking at it, you're like, oh, I don't even care. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at the ceiling. Let me look at the wall. I don't even care. As you're like slightly looking at it.
It's like when you're at a restaurant and you're just starving and you want the food to come and you're just like, you know what? I don't even care.
Instead of sitting there looking at the kitchen, just like every time a waiter comes out.
Is that us? No,
It's gotta be ours. It's gotta be
what? I
ours.
don't care. I'm
I
just
don't
gonna
even
go
care.
and play on my phone.
I'm gonna look at the tablecloth. Yeah, it's kind of like that, which honestly is probably the best approach to take right now because you can't be let down.
Yeah, don't
and
look.
I respect the approach. I just really would like this team to make the playoffs. Especially, it was
would I, man.
It was the number one thing that I wanted post Tarek Skubal trade was like, man, you know how good this would feel to make the playoffs after selling? And it's not like the way they did it 2 years ago. I know everyone says, oh, they already did that before. Yeah, the way they did it 2 years ago was different. They fake sold. They traded away Jack Flaherty. You traded Tarek Skubal. You traded the back-to-back Cy Young to the Dodgers, and everyone hates you. And yet you sneak your way into the playoffs. You got these dudes on MLB Network who are saying, oh, it's going to be bad for baseball if the Tigers get into the playoffs. No, screw that. If the Tigers get into the playoffs, it'd be awesome. And so I think the main thing that we've kind of avoided talking about for we mentioned the bullpen. Obviously, Kenley Jansen blowing it yesterday. They could have just won the game if that doesn't happen. Like, that one is 100% on him. Dylan Dingler just still is in a really bad slump. And I think that has been the number one contributor. Like, at the beginning of this week, we said, hey, Dingler has to get out of this now. And he hasn't at all. Like, I mean, it's not like he's gone 0 in the entire series, but it hasn't been a great series for him. And the Tigers continue to lose. Like, at the end of the day, his OPS is about to dip below 800.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy, like, how bad that it has been for him. That's probably been the number one reason why they have still just not gotten back to anything since they have been, finishing the Cleveland series and winning that. But, yeah, I get all the positivity that you have. I share the same thoughts about the excitement about the future. I just worry that in baseball, focusing on the future about what's coming next is a very slippery slope to go down. It's just a lot different than basketball and football.
989, baseball is different than basketball. You're right. 989-837-6125.
One of them has a bat.
One of them has a net.
Yeah.
This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Minute. The 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Yiter Insurance. Life happens fast, and at Yiter Insurance Group, they're here to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter is the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people you can actually talk to. That's Yiter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
100.9 The Mid.
Kyle, let's switch things up. I know it's in order, and we always do news at 11:30. Let's do news right now and then get to the Hutchinson thing at 11:30, and then we can end the show how we normally do. So let's do news right now.
The Mitts Morning Catch.
Hey, whatever you say, Ben. I'm always good for a switch up, you know?
Switching it up.
Keep me on my toes. I like it. Let's get into the news. Okay, community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. We know that we have the live music, live concert series downtown on the weekends here in downtown Midland, the Commons. They're getting it started early this weekend, Ben.
Oh, is that right?
It's the weekend warm-up special.
Ooh.
Live music tonight, 7 to 9, downtown in the Commons. Go check it out. We were walking around downtown yesterday during the day.
Yep.
Always a great spot to hang out in the summertime. So if you got nothing going on, Ben always says it, Thursday's a new Friday.
Yeah,
Go
man.
downtown to the Commons, 7 to 9, live music, get yourself a drink, walk around.
Nobody works on Fridays anymore.
Come on. It's Friday anyways. We love Thursdays. Okay, yeah, you can go do that tonight. Let's do some college basketball news. How about that? Because yesterday, Michigan dipped their toes into this new fifth-year class of 2022 thing. They had a new guard. Columbia transfer Kenny Nolan signing with Michigan. Last year, Nolan averaged 17.1 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, 3.7 assists for Columbia, which I think is an Ivy League school.
Yeah, I think so.
It sounds about right. They add a guard to this roster who was pretty good last year. He was a fifth-year guy that was one of the guys that became eligible and then transferred to Michigan. Michigan had a decent history with adding these like super smart school guys. Mike Smith, Jalen Newellen was one of those guys. There was another one too. Devin Jones, Devontae Jones. I think that's who it was.
You're just saying names.
You don't know any of these names? It's like we're starting guards for Michigan in the last 5 years. Mike Smith, like super notable.
I know Mike Smith. I also think my brain has like blacked out most of the Juwan Howard era.
Sure, that's fair. I don't blame you with that one. So
all I can envision is Kobe Buffkins and Jet Howard taking awful shots as the buzzer expires. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. They've had success though with going for the Ivy League and the smarter school guys on the grad years. So we'll see if this happens as well. I can't imagine Kenny Nolan is going to be a starter. This backcourt for Michigan is pretty set in stone with Elliot Cadeau and Trey McKinney. But who knows? Maybe it'd be a nice six-man role. Basketball news on the Michigan State side of things. We mentioned yesterday Jackson Kohler is back, not at Michigan State, though. He's just back in college basketball. We got news as well that former Michigan State Spartan Trey Holloman is attempting to get his fifth year back. I think he wants to go back to MSU. He's made it pretty publicly that he wants to. He went to the MSU alumni thing, which is just hilarious that he was at that.
I think he regretted leaving MSU like within days of departing, and then Tom Izzo just would never welcome him back in.
And didn't have a great year at NC State.
Nope.
He is attempting for a fifth year as well. There were some other schools that were interested in him, but none of them were Michigan State. Of course, Tom Izzo has no interest in diving into that. As far as this fifth year situation, where the class of 2022 guys can get a fifth year essentially now. It is affecting football at a much different level than basketball, because basketball, yeah, they're starting practice and summer sessions right now. Rosters are being set. Schedules are being put out at the day by day right now. Football teams start next week, and some of these football guys are coming back right now. Ole Miss added 3 starters back to their team this week who all were signed with NFL teams this summer.
Yeah, what are we
Daquan
doing?
Wright, Xavion Harris, and Wydett Williams were all starters on the Ole Miss defense that was a college football playoff team last year. They were all granted the temporary restraining order Wednesday to return to college for one more season. They will be back with the Runnin' Rebels. So
what are we doing? If you were on an NFL team or at all signed to an NFL team,
sure, which that's
in any capacity,
that's the part I'm confused about, because I tried to read up on this. That foolish of me, because it just changes by the day anyways. I was under the circumstance that if you had signed with any pro football team, you were ineligible to come back. AKA, even if you signed, in the Canadian Football League, Arena Football League, whatever it was, any sort of football team signed with, you don't have to play a snap or anything yet, that you could not come back. I guess not. Nobody knows the rules. These coaches don't even know the rules. The players don't even know the rules. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of these football rosters are going to be getting changed.
There are games next week. We are 1 week away from games.
EA Sports is going to be having a busy week adding these players into the college football game. That's for sure.
I got a wedding next Saturday, and I already sent the meme of all the dudes just watching football on their phones during a wedding.
Oh, no way you're watching week 0 football at a wedding.
Dude, I'm going to be sick for it.
You can watch Stanford, Hawaii at the wedding.
Stanford, Hawaii. We got TCU taking on North Carolina. Got to see how Bill Belichick responds to this
that's
thing.
Pretty
a lot
sicko
of good storylines.
I will say that's pretty sicko behavior, but I love it.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, let's do just a quick hitters of random news here. How legit is this report, Ben? The Red Wings reportedly have not interviewed any candidates for their GM spot. Do we believe it?
Yeah, I believe it. What's the one word we've used to describe the Red Wings for the better part of the last year? Incompetent. This kind of fits the bill for that, doesn't it? We're 3 weeks away from the season. 4 weeks removed from Steve Yzerman being let go or moved into, a nursing home. And there's been no movement in terms of hiring another GM.
Yeah.
What the hell? What is going on?
Classic Red Wings. Classic Chris Ilitch, Bryce Rayner,
He's
we
like,
mentioned.
if we don't pay a guy, if we hire a guy right before the season starts, we get 3 months worth of savings on him. You don't have to pay him all summer.
Sure. I tell you, man, just put Hot and Ready's up another $1. You'll be fine.
Yeah, they're already up $9 from
everybody's
what they
already
used to be.
doing it. I haven't gotten a Hot and Ready in a while.
Good.
Are they still is it still going to cost you $13 to get a Hot and Ready and Crazy Bread?
I think out the door you're like 12.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it used to be like 7.
That's unbelievable. I could go on an app for any other pizza place and get a cheaper pizza breadstick combo.
And also, it's just not that good of pizza.
Well, yeah, obviously, but it was the
worst
cheap pizza. It was hot. That was the whole point of it. It's hot and ready,
It's also the worst pizza left over.
Dude, that is your best take ever.
I like a slice of cold pizza.
That's the worst part about getting a hot and ready, is because if I don't eat the whole thing in one sitting, one, I'm going to feel terrible if I do. But then two, if I don't, I'm just throwing it away. It's the worst leftover pizza ever.
I like cold pizza. A lot of times when I have leftover pizza, I'll have one slice cold while I'm heating up other pieces.
I do the same thing.
Am I cooking right now? I really screw with a nice piece of cold pizza. The Little Caesars pizza while it's cold is basically dog food. And even when you heat it back up, not that good.
And everyone knows, microwave reheated pizza is not the best. You got to put it in the air fryer. Well, some people do the pan technique, too. I think that works pretty good. It's very similar to the air fryer method.
Pan technique?
Yeah, you put it in a pan with, something over top of it to steam it.
Oh. Like in the oven or the microwave?
No, on the stovetop.
Oh. I've never done that.
A lot of people do that technique. It's very similar to the air fryer technique. Nothing saves the Little Caesars, though.
No, it's bad.
It's bad, yeah. So thanks, Chris Ilitch, for not having any good leftover pizza.
Yeah, next time you have a Little Caesars meeting, make the pizza better for leftover the next day. Priority number 1.
Yeah, and then drop the price by $4.
Right, correct.
Okay, Bryce Rayner, we mentioned yesterday, has had 4 straight games with a homer. Make it 5. Yes, I know Jaden Daniels is going to be pissed.
Dog.
Doesn't matter. Bryce Rayner's gone 5 straight games with a home run. Pretty dominant stuff he's doing right now on the west side of Michigan.
Holy crap. Can we get that guy down to Erie?
For real. Can we get him on the Tigers? Just kidding. Way too soon. More news. The Twins sweep the Braves yesterday. They hold on to that final wild card spot. The Orioles had a chance to hold that final wild card spot, but they got mega screwed over. Pete Alonso in the bottom of the 7th inning just crushes a home run into deep left field against the Yankees, and it's gone. But they call it foul, which it was close on initial review. Like on live, it's close. They call it foul, so then they review it. On the review, the replay shows that this is a fair ball. It's fair. They show it on the big board. Everybody's freaking out at Camden Yards, and the umps come back out and they say, after review, there was not enough evidence for us to overturn the call. It was a foul ball. It was gone. It was a home run. Alonso, of course, strikes out in the same at-bat because he was frustrated, and they lose because of it. I would have been really upset, too. I don't blame him.
That's tough.
Vita Vea agrees to a 1-year extension to end his hold-in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I guess that's good news. It didn't seem like he was going to get traded anyways.
Yeah, so he's got 2 years left on the deal now.
Yeah, so Vea is back with the Bucs. We'll close the news with golf news. The BMW Championship kicks off today. It actually just got started about an hour ago. The top 50 of the PGA Tour season after the top 70 got cut down from 20 guys at the St. Jude's last weekend. Rory McIlroy, just has to talk crap about somebody.
Of course.
At the beginning of any of these tournaments. He questions the value of the LIV players returning to the PGA Tour. This comes after Scottie Scheffler said earlier this week he is excited and would be happy for the LIV golfers to return to the PGA Tour because they bring a ton of value to their league, putting all the same golfers back in the same league. That makes a lot of sense to me, right? Rory McIlroy says, I would argue they haven't even brought value to LIV, so what would they bring to the PGA Tour? Classic Rory, man.
Classic Rory.
He is like number one devil's advocate. That's just how he is. Can't agree with anybody. Shout out
And
to
number
Rory,
one,
man.
just like...
Number one loser? Yeah.
No, not number one loser. He rocks. But he's number one, like...
Stir the pot
I don't care
guy.
about anybody else other than myself.
Yes. Which, like, honestly, I kind of respect.
I do, too. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. Live here on 100.9 The Mitt, the 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Yetter Insurance. Boring floors, sad shower. Premier Tile and Stone is here to rescue your surfaces from the snooze zone. These folks, they turn tile into art. I'm talking kitchens, bathrooms, backsplashes, fireplaces. If it holds still, they'll tile it beautifully. Locally owned in Midland, but their work looks like it belongs in a magazine that charges $15 an issue. Giant selection of fancy stuff like porcelain, ceramic, natural stone, and materials you probably can't even pronounce, but you're going to love it. Stop dreaming and start scheming. Visit the showroom and let your inner interior designer run wild. That's Premier Tile and Stone, where your floors get fabulous and grout gets glorious.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The
989-837-6125. So PFF ranked every defensive line in the NFL, and they had the Lions come out as the 10th best defensive line. Did I say defense? I think I said defense. Defensive line in the NFL. That's what we're talking about right now. And I've got to say, like, if that's the case, if the Lions do end up having somewhere around the 10th best defensive line in the NFL, that's going to go a really long ways to making this defense an above average unit. And that's all they really need to be in my mind, as long as the offense continues to be this top 5 unit. I do think it's a little more likely than not for that to happen. I do kind of believe in the defense to hit their upside here between Aiden Hutchinson having a career surgeons year. I think he had that last year, finished top 5 depoy, and now just has a way better supporting cast around him. You know, you've got guys like Ali McNeil, who has shown he can be a Robin. I don't think Ali McNeil will ever be a Batman, but he's shown he can be a Robin. It certainly was not who he was last year coming back from the ACL, probably a little bit too early. But boom, there you got a 1-2 punch. You got Derek Moore across from him. I think fans should be really excited about coming from Michigan. You still got guys like Hasneem. You still got guys like Levi Wunzarike. I don't know what's gotten into me late, Kyle, but I'm feeling just like optimistic right now in general. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about all the teams, and I feel like that's not really the way sports radio is supposed to work. I'm supposed to be pounding my fists all angry. And I don't like the sports radio where everyone's just happy all the time. That pisses me off too. But like, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell our audience something I don't actually feel. And I do feel like this Detroit Lions defensive line can help salvage a pretty mediocre secondary. Mediocre is probably being generous, to be honest, at least at the beginning of the year.
I'd be happy.
I think this Lions defensive line can reach a height that's good enough to make up for it. And if that's the case, if the defense is average or above average, now you're talking about a team that I think can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but how good does it have to be to actually make up for it? Like, if we're thinking this secondary is going to be a bottom 10 unit in football,
then it's got to be a top 10 unit.
Which it probably is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Is that a safe assumption to make?
Yeah,
that's the one thing that I think you're not going to be like, oh, I feel good about that room, like you feel good about every other room.
No, and I mean, unless Kirby and Branch both come back and are playing healthy, but that seems super unlikely. So, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
Question, yeah.
How good does the defensive line have to be to make up for it?
Yeah.
I mean, they had 49 sacks last year. Their problem was they couldn't really stop the run because McNeil was non-existent in the run game.
This also is a defensive line that has not stayed healthy, and I think that matters. It's different guys here this year.
Who? Like, who hasn't stayed healthy?
As a collection, like the opposite edge rusher to Hutchinson has just been a revolving door of whether that's injury or question mark of who it even is.
Sure.
Hutchinson himself has dealt with injury. I'm not saying he has not been able to stay healthy, but he has dealt with it.
One major injury.
Sure. And the interior of the defensive line certainly has not been able to stay consistently healthy.
Correct.
Whether that's Ali McNeil, Tyleik Williams did not deal with any, like, as far as guys that are going to be there this year. You know, Williams has not really. Onzarike, we know what comes with him.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even really know if I should be bringing him up. So
I think he's on the team. I think he'll make the roster.
I would assume he does.
I would too. But the way that Hasneem's playing in that big end role, it's like, oh my God, maybe they don't need a Levi Wunzarike anymore.
Injury, you know?
Hasneem also has had the torn pec. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right in the terms that they've had their fair share of injuries.
But so has the Lions, you know, like so has
every other unit.
Football teams. You know, it just kind of happens.
That's the thing, dude. Nobody makes it through the NFL season fully healthy. And obviously the Lions have been on like the really wrong side of that for like 3 years in a row of, oh, this is one of the most injured teams.
See, they have, but I also will make the argument that I think I would rather have what the Lions have had than losing your quarterback. Like, losing your quarterback and every single other person staying healthy, I would rather have what the Lions have had.
Sure.
It's just such a detriment. And the Lions have been extremely lucky in that sense that they have not had to deal with that.
Yeah, 4 years in a row that
it's pretty awesome.
4 years in a row, Goff has played all 17 games, which is certainly something he deserves a little bit of credit for. Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I think most people would just be with you there. But like maybe this year the Lions have the 16th best injury luck rather than the 32nd or 1st, or depending on how you look at it.
They're not off to a great start. That's
with
for
Cade
sure.
Mays.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I would rather these injuries just be minor and happen throughout the course of the year than all of them stockpile until week 15, which is what happened back in 2015. It was like, oh, yeah, you guys were already banged up? Well, Carlton Davis, Aleem McNeil, and Anzalone are all
Yeah.
about to get hurt now, right
And
before the playoffs.
Amik
It's like,
Robertson is going to go down in the playoffs.
what? In the first play of the game. Okay, that wasn't like I'd rather the injuries kind of just happen throughout the season. It's just a matter of how many guys are going to be out for good. You're not going to stay healthy throughout the year. Your best players will miss some games. Are they going to be healthy come December? That's really the question. So, yeah, it sucks to lose Cade Mays for 5 weeks-ish. We know it's not season-ending. It's a broken wrist. He'll be back. That's part of it that makes me feel a little bit better, too. So would you have the same rankings as I did as the units? I had weapons 1, quarterback 2, I had defensive line 3, I had linebackers 4, secondary 5, and offensive line last, simply because I need to see what that unit looks like. Is it probably going to be better than the secondary? Yes, but I think the importance of the offensive line being good and taking a huge step forward is far superior in terms of the line's success to whatever the secondary is going to be.
I just think the secondary has to be last. I do.
Fair.
And I understand that, yes, they have the players hypothetically that could be there, and I don't think Terrion Arnold being there or not is what changes this. Obviously the safeties, being out, I have to put them last. And Cade Mays being out on the offensive line plays.
Yeah.
We also know when he's going to come back.
Kinda.
I have no idea when Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph are going to come back. At least
I don't think Branch is going to miss that much time.
Who misses more time, Branch or Mays? Similar?
I think it'll be the same
Similar?
timeline.
Okay, that's fair. Kirby Joseph, though.
The good thing about
plays, I'm
Branch's
happy.
injury is that we will know before the season starts how long he's going to miss, because they're going to have to make a decision to either keep him on the PUP list or activate him before. And if he gets activated, it's okay, maybe he can play week 4. I have a feeling he'll be on the
Here's
PUP
the
list and miss
question.
the first 4 weeks, though.
With you having the offensive line last, does that almost affect Jared Goff at number 2? Does that mean Jared Goff shouldn't be number 2 with them, the offensive line being the last unit?
No, because the offensive line was the last unit last year, and Jared Goff still put up incredible numbers, Pro Bowl numbers.
Yeah, the defensive line was really bad last year.
It was really bad. Hutch got his sacks, and they had 49
And that
of
was
them in
it.
total.
That
and
was it.
That was all they had going for him
Yeah,
last year.
Al-Qadim
because
Muhammad, got some scraps.
That's the thing with Hutchinson, dude. Moore will have good stats whenever he gets a big-time role. He'll get the sacks because whoever plays across from Hutchinson, there's just now enough evidence to know that person just gets cleanup sacks over and over again. Whether it's Hasneem or not Hasneem, whether it's Al-Qadim Muhammad from last season or James Houston from when he was a rookie back in 23. Whoever is over there just ends up getting sacks. I do think Derek Moore will be not an exception to that, but someone who fits that bill.
Yeah,
and
but hopefully
maybe
it's
has a higher upside.
I was
as well.
about to say, hopefully it's just more than that, That would be the goal. Are you a little cold, Ben? You got the hoodie on?
It was a little chilly in here.
You've been hot lately, man.
Well,
Logan in our
it's-
YouTube chat asking if you're cold in there.
Well, it was 77 in here almost every day the last 2 weeks. The AC broke. Now the AC's fixed and it's 67 in here, which was a little bit chilly. You gotta be careful with what you wish
Hey,
for.
don't complain, man.
I'm not.
Is this better?
This is better because I can put my hoodie on and be totally comfortable. When it was 77, it was like hell on earth in here. It was terrible. We got it all fixed up thanks to our cool crew. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on The Mitt. The show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Hey, at Prime Package Plus, they're more than just a shipping company. From mailbox rentals, printing, to notary services, shredding, packaging, supplies, they've got your business covered all under one roof. Plus, save $5 off any service with a minimum $25 purchase. That is Prime Package Plus right here in Midland.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid. Leaky gutter. on 100.9 The Mid.
Nine 837-6125. We've got three traditions to close out every single show. The first of which we're trying to make a little bit of money. I call it the lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Jackson Jobe let us down yet again, man. Whew.
Nice. Hasn't gotten 5Ks yet, man.
I know. Maybe he's just not a strikeout guy, which would surprise me considering he throws 100.
And his like strikeout pitch is the slider.
Yeah. But he hasn't
Just hasn't been yet. Yeah, only 3 yesterday.
Yeah. 4.43 in his first 3 starts. Not great.
It's all right, though. It's only your first loss of the week in Lock of the Day. 2-1 so far. You're about a half unit up because you had a pretty safe pick on Tuesday. You're 1.29 units down in August with a chance to get it back today because you're going with a little bit of a heavy hitter.
Yeah, heavy hitter plus, what is it at, 152?
158.
158. I'm hitting Caitlin Clark to hit 4 threes tonight versus Dallas. Caitlin Clark to hit 4 threes.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're respecting Jaden Daniels. 4 threes.
It can't be 5.
Only 4, yeah.
Can't be 5.
Yeah.
She has hit 18 threes in the past 5 games. It's a little over 3 a game. But right now, they're just kind of like in an unstoppable, her and Kelsey Mitchell for the Fever. They're just like in this like crazy run of each scoring 20 points. They're both hot. They're like unstoppable right now across their league. Maybe even championship worthy. What? Who knows? We'll see. So I'm going to keep riding the hot hand and say that Caitlin Clark hits 4 threes tonight against Dallas and Paige Becker. So this should be a good one. I'm like
Fun
for sure
matchup.
locked into this one tonight.
I do see that Mitchell and Clark are both game time decisions. Maybe they have been. I haven't been keeping up with their injury report. I assume they're both good to go, though. You see AZ Fudd is done for the year.
Really?
Yeah, she's out for the season for the Wings. So I don't know what type of rookie season she's been having. But I would assume that's tough. I mean, first overall pick, probably not that great that she's out.
Yeah.
13 points per game this year. Yeah, that seems pretty valuable. But they still got Page, so. All right, do I tailor fade this? They've been hot lately. Does that mean they're due to have a bad game?
It means they're in the middle of like a Steph KD Warriors run where they're just annihilating everybody.
But they're not even like close to the best team in the league.
They're one of them.
I mean, like, kinda. They're not like Steph and KD.
You're right.
They're the third best team in the league.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So
I'm going to fade.
Okay. That's our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Let's do game of the day next.
Game of the day.
So there's not a lot of options. Baseball, there's only 3 night games today. So getaway day. So we got the Yankees and the Orioles, Garrett Cole versus Bradish. We've got the Nationals and the Rangers. And we've got the Angels and the Astros.
Worth noting, by the way, my lock of the day from yesterday hit. Seattle
won.
Milwaukee. It's just how that goes, man. Oh, you lose 22-0? Psh, you're just going to win the next game. 7-5, they won. But that's a day game today, so it can't be your game of the day.
Yeah, interesting, though. Who's going to win the rubber match there? And has some Tiger stakes in
Braves
it as
White
well.
Sox, a fun series that is starting today. I believe that's a 4-gamer as well.
If it's starting on a Thursday, yeah. 2:10 start for that one.
Oh, no, sorry. This is they're just playing one game today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a makeup game from
June
earlier
11th.
this year. They're legit just playing a game, and then
Getting out.
Then they play the Mets. Okay, that's pretty interesting. I guess it makes sense with Atlanta playing Minnesota this past week, so they're relatively close. So that's kind of fun. Just a one-off game. Tigers haven't done that in a while. That's kind of fun.
I don't think there's anything worthy of baseball.
Yeah, but it's probably just the game you were just talking about.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to have to be the Fever. It's going to have to be the Fever taking on the Wings. That's what it's going to be. It's on Amazon Prime tonight. I'm for sure locking into this. There's not really anything else on.
No Tigers.
No Tigers.
Maybe you watch a movie tonight. Maybe that's the game of the day.
We got a live eviction tonight in Big Brother.
Oh, there you go.
That's exciting.
That's the eviction of the day.
That's the eviction of the day, but I think the game of the day has to be the Fever and the Wings on Prime Video tonight at 8 o'clock.
Game of the day.
I got 2 words for you. Steve Nash and Chris Paul. Must-see TV.
Michigan fans, they have nothing to worry about.
And just added a new player, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Let's do a little scoreboard watching. So yesterday, not only did the Tigers lose,
Scoreboard watching.
but the Twins picked up a victory against Atlanta. That was a sweep, wasn't it? Ugh. Chicago White Sox salvage their series against the Cubs, so they pick up another game on the Tigers. Thank you, Darren Waller.
Scoreboard watching.
Let's see. Baltimore lost to New York, so they're also kind of hanging in there in the wild card standings.
Scoreboard watching.
We've got Seattle, who won after getting blown out.
Scoreboard watching.
Who somehow is still in it.
Somehow still in it. And Texas lost 6-0 yesterday to Washington.
Okay, so since the Tigers aren't playing today, who are we rooting against today?
Here we go. Thursday slate. Here is what you need to know. You need to be rooting against the Seattle Mariners against Milwaukee for a rubber match. Root for Milwaukee.
Scoreboard watching.
In Chicago's one-off game today against Atlanta, you're rooting for Atlanta against the White Sox. Baltimore versus New York is happening at 6:30. You want New York to beat Baltimore. You want Washington to beat Texas tonight at 8:05. And you probably just want the Angels to beat Houston as well, because the more that division loses, the more likely that final wild card spot is still a little bit more up in the air to grab. There you go. That's scoreboard watching. Last thing that we have. Guessing Colin's Open. What do we think Colin Cowherd is going to open up his show with? Fox Sports Radio, 100.9 The Mitt, The Herd with Colin Cowherd. You might have heard of him. He does his show at noon. What do we think he leads his show with? I don't think either of us got a point yesterday.
Yeah, he did a Mahomes lead, but basically saying, like, it's way harder for Mahomes and the Chiefs to be good now than it was years ago. Like, oh, when Mahomes first got to the Chiefs, like, the division was a joke.
That's true.
And now, like, it's kind of loaded. Interesting. Luke says Stanford versus Hawaii at the wedding is crazy. Must be catching up. Okay. Yeah, 68-68 remains the score. Man, we've been locked up here for a minute. It's been like a week of this same score. It's my turn to go first today, episode 304. We had a trade in the NBA. I think that just takes precedent over any random NFL story. I don't know, though. I don't know what the NFL story would be, unless I'm just like missing something pretty big. I mean, like Vita Vea going back, no. Jaden Higgins tearing his ACL, that's sad, but no. He also has just been picking a random team to talk about the last couple of days. You know, like he just picked the Chiefs to talk about yesterday. I am going to go with the trade that happened in the NBA, though. Can I do that? Can I do like the Nuggets, what are the Nuggets doing type of lead? Sure. I don't love it, but that's what I'm going to go with.
I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to go with the college football players heading back to college, or the NFL guys that get cut and go back to college, because Schefter said this morning on Get Up or ESPN, whatever show he was on, that there could be up to 100 players that get cut once the August 30th cuts come. 90-man rosters right now, and obviously has to get down to 54. Once those cuts happen, he said there could be upwards of 100 players that were at camp who go back and play college football again. That is problematic.
Just going to rejoin the team without being there all summer.
Maybe Colin can tackle that in a fun way. So that'll be my prediction.
The thing is, he loves the current state of college football, though.
He does.
Like, he zags. He's like, college football is the best it's ever been.
Yeah, he's gonna be like,
that's
this is
hate
good,
on
more talent.
Yeah, sure. I guess that could be it.
All right, we appreciate everybody for listening today. Like and subscribe on YouTube if you have not already. Follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on all the latest information, stories, news, graphics. You'll get it all there. And then Instagram and TikTok is where you get our exclusive video content. Appreciate everybody for tuning in today. We'll see you guys tomorrow for a Friday show. Have a good one.
The Ben Bosscher